He's gotten creative with the contracts as well, so I'm not saying this is an L move from Brad Holmes, but this is the first time we've really seen him in this situation with one of his star players. Remember that. Presented by Matt Larson, Farm Bureau agent, located downtown Midland.
This is more than just a lineup. It's a daily ritual for the die-hard Michigan sports fans. At 6 a.m., Anthony Bellino wakes up the state with Spin on Sports.
I do not believe it.
At 9, the Ben Bosscher Show is appointment listening hosted here in the Great Lakes Bay region.
I would like to buy some Casey Mize stock.
America's Best takes over at noon. The Herd with Colin Cowherd.
Well, what about Patrick Mahomes?
And at 3, Bill Simonson brings it home on The Huge Show. Sports Radio 100.9 The Mid for the most passionate fans in Michigan.
Have you noticed bad behavior has become normalized at interscholastic athletic events? Some fans seem angry. They lack civility toward one another. Some even get aggressive and unruly. Time out! What is going on? This has to stop. Let's not forget, school sports aren't just about winning. And they're definitely not an excuse to take your frustrations out on the official or the opponent. They're about teaching lessons like perseverance, respect, and empathy, so students can learn and grow as people, not just as players. We all have a role to play in setting a good example for our students and teaching them these important values. So fans, it's time to step up your game and behave positively at interscholastic athletic events in Michigan.
This message presented by the MHSAA and the Michigan Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
From the Blazy Electric Studios, this is Sports Radio 100.9 The Mid, WLUN, Pinconning Bay City, Saginaw, Midland. Michigan sports aren't just a game, they're a way of life. And now we've got a show dedicated to die-hard sports fans like you. Hosted by a guy who's borderline obsessed with the wins and losses of all your favorite teams.
He's crazy.
Every weekday morning from 9 to noon, Ben Bosscher brings you the talk that matters. The teams, the stories, and the players you care about most. This is the Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair.
Remember that.
Hello. Good morning. Happy Friday, and welcome in to the Ben Bosscher Show right here on 100.9 The Mid, live on YouTube and Facebook as well. Hope everyone's had a fantastic start to their day and a great start to the weekend because, of course, it is Friday. We've got baseball back in our lives tonight. Tigers in Texas taking on the Rangers. Should be a fun series this weekend as the Tigers begin their second half. We're going to get to the Tigers in the 10 o'clock hour. We're going to kick things off with the Detroit Lions because what we have been talking about for really the first 2 months of the show, and if you want to take it back even further to when the payoff existed at 6 o'clock, we've been talking about this race between the Steelers, Cowboys, and Lions for the better part of 4 or 5 months, really ever since the season ended. And yesterday, the Lions don't finish first in the race. We're going to get to that in just a second, but just a real quick housekeeping. Of course, Ben Bosscher with you live every single day here at 9 o'clock. Kyle Sandel usually behind the glass today, but he's off on the road getting ready to call some Loons baseball tonight in Dayton. So we've got the one, the only, the boss man, Brad Tunney stepping in. What's going on, Brad?
Oh!
How's it going? I'm excited to do this show, man. This is going to be fun.
It will be.
It will be. All right, let's jump right in then. So, look, we've been talking about it for a couple months. Like I said, we were begging Brad Holmes to make Aiden Hutchinson the highest paid edge rusher in the league because the longer he waited, the more it was going to cost him in the long run, right? You saw that with Amon-Ra St. Brown. They made him the highest paid wide receiver in the NFL, and now that's looking like legitimately one of the best contracts there is in sports. Once upon a time, less than 15 months ago, Amon-Ra St. Brown was the highest paid receiver in the NFL. Now you've got Garrett Wilson, DK Metcalf, A.J. Brown, all making more money than him on a per-year basis, which is borderline laughable in the case of DK Metcalf making more than Amon-Ra St. Brown. They paid their guy way earlier than they needed to. they paid him way more than they needed to in total, and it ended up paying off because obviously the market resets itself and you have all these guys now making more money than Amon-Ra St. Brown. And we sat here on this show right here at this desk, and I put my hands together and I said, please, Brad Holmes, do the exact same thing with Aiden Hutchinson. Well, it is now July 18th, and guess what? Unfortunately, TJ Watt has reset the market. Yesterday, TJ Watt signs for an outstanding $41 million per year, $108 million guaranteed. And for the fourth time just this offseason, the market has been reset. They could have extended Aiden Hutchinson back in March, made him the highest paid edge rusher in the league by giving him $35 million per season. Because guess what's happened in the last 4 months? Max Crosby resets the market March 5th, $35 million per year, $62 million guaranteed. Then Myles Garrett resets the market, $40 million on a per year basis, $123 million guaranteed March 9th. March 19th, Danielle Hunter gets $35 million, 48 of it guaranteed. And then yesterday, of course, like I said, TJ Watt, $108 million guaranteed, $41 million per season. Before that, it was Nick Bosa, who was atop the market. So if the Lions really wanted to get ahead of everything, at the beginning of March, really right when the season ended, they could have said, hey, Hutchinson, here's $35 million per season. We want you to be the highest paid edge rusher in the NFL. And I just have a hard time believing anyone, regardless of their position, regardless of when they were drafted, regardless of what kind of production there's been, no one declines a contract that makes you the highest paid player at your position across the NFL. I just don't think that fundamentally happens across the league. My stance is the Lions were a little bit like, hey, we want to see what you look like before this injury. Really, like, we want to see what you look like coming back from this injury. We want to work things out. I don't know if we want to make you the highest paid edge rusher in the league right now. And now look at that. 5 months later, you have 4 guys that have completely reset the market. TJ Watt doing it yesterday. And now suddenly you're looking to pay Aiden Hutchinson somewhere between $40 and $41 million per season. I do think he's going to get just as much as TJ Watt. And if you would have done it before TJ Watt, you wouldn't have had to make these comparisons, because now Aiden Hutchinson's agent can go to the Lions and say, well, look at what he was doing the first 5 games of the season. He was on pace to, in fact, outperform TJ Watt. Really anything TJ Watt's ever done. I mean, the numbers speak for themselves. Last year, Hutch was on pace for 170 pressures. The record is 105 on a total season. And he was on pace for 170. He had 8 sacks through 5 games. Hutchinson was doing some otherworldly stuff, was well on his way to winning a Defensive Player of the Year. I do not care about this leg injury in terms of paying Aiden Hutchinson. It doesn't scare me whatsoever. He's 24 years old. He's the face of this franchise. He's everything that Dan Campbell has brought over with in terms of the culture. He embodies that. Not to mention he's from Detroit. He's the face of this franchise. He's the highest overall draft pick there is on this team. There's a pretty good argument he's the best player on this team. There's a pretty good argument you can pick him to win Defensive Player of the Year this year. And they waited to pay him, and now it's going to cost them some money. They could have made him the highest paid edge in the league in March at $35 million per season. Now it's looking like somewhere between $40 and $41 million a season. And Lord knows what it looks like if they just say, you know what, we're not dealing with this offseason, we're going to kick it down the road. Then God knows what you're dealing with. $42, $43, $44 million per season. You might be thinking, well, it's just an extra $6 million a year. What's that going to cost the Lions? $6 million. Meek Robertson's making $6 million a season. That's a great addition in an offseason. $6 million doesn't sound like a whole lot when you're talking about an NFL salary cap of $350, $360 million. But when you realize you can pick up players like a Meek Robertson in free agency who have an immediate impact on the Lions for $6 million, that's costing the Lions a lot of money. To me, this is Brad Holmes' biggest mistake so far in his tenure with the Detroit Lions, Brad. I can't believe that it came to this. I wanted them to beat the Steelers. I still think they're going to beat the Cowboys because the Cowboys just seem to take forever to make any sort of contract, and then they usually wait too long and have to make record-breaking deals for all their guys. They did it with Dak. They did it with CeeDee. They did it with Ezekiel Elliott back in the day. Micah Parsons seems like he's not taking anything less than the most amount of money possible. So I still have faith that they'll beat the Cowboys out in this, but we were begging for the last couple months for them to beat the Steelers in their race to pay an edge rusher, and unfortunately yesterday they lost that race.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're hitting it on the head here, except, a contract agreement takes two to tango, right?
Yep.
And I guess I don't blame Hutch's representation for waiting until now. If this was solely a Brad Holmes decision, then sure, major mistake. But what incentives, what leverage does Brad Holmes have over Aiden Hutchinson for Hutchinson to sign this now? In what world would Aiden Hutchinson not want to wait until after T.J. Watt signed, until after Myles Garrett signed, until after Max Crosby signed, and so until after Danielle Hunter signs? To me, this is on Hutch more than it is on Brad Holmes, in that if I was Hutch, I'd want to wait.
I'd agree with you for the most part, but I circle back to if you're offered to be the highest paid edge in the league, or wide receiver, or quarterback, or offensive tackle, or defensive tackle, I don't really know if it matters. If you get that contract put in front of you and it says, we want to make you the highest paid player at your position in the history of the league, I just don't fundamentally believe anyone says no to that and says, I'm all good.
Yeah, but to your point, if he gets that laid in front of him in March and it's 36 M's, and he knows he's just got to wait 5 months and it's an additional $6 million, like, every single month he waits, he makes an extra $1 million this summer, right?
Per
year.
Yeah, theoretically. But then I guess my question back to you would be, okay, then why doesn't Crosby wait then? Because Crosby's camp could have made the argument, well, I'm going to wait until Hutchinson's done. Same thing with
the
TJ
answer
Watt.
to that, to me, is Hutch has less to lose. He's the youngest, and despite a broken leg, he has the least injury/age concern of anyone in that group. So if I'm his representation, I'm telling him wait out. The fact that you've got a year left in your contract, TJ Watt doesn't have that leverage. This is the final year of his deal. Hutch is still under contract a full another year. Mm-hmm. He has leverage over the Lions and over Brad Holmes to state, I can wait until TJ Watt signs. TJ Watt is 30. He's late in his career. He's one major injury away at that age, at that position, from being absolutely done. I'm cool waiting. And every month I wait, I make another $1 million. Mm. And so I'll wait and wait and wait. Now, the added context to that, to me, on the Brad Holmes side and the Lions side is, I don't think Hutch should be the highest paid edge in football. Like, there's no difference between Garrett Wilson signing for less than Jamar Chase or Danielle Hunter signing for less than what Myles Garrett signed for, or what TJ Watt just signed for. What is the justification for Aiden Hutchinson's camp to go to Brad Holmes and say, I need more than TJ Watt? Every single edge that just signed in the last 6 months has been an all-pro. Aiden Hutchinson, you have not.
Aiden Hutchinson was well on his way to having an all-pro season last year, but
hasn't done it.
But
3 of the 4 that signed in the last 6 months have won a DPOY, have won a Defensive Player in the Year.
That's correct, but that's kind of just how the market resets itself regardless of the position. Amon-Ra St. Brown was first-team All-Pro the last 2 seasons. What on earth argument does DK Metcalf have to making more money than him? He has none, but
true.
That's just the way it worked out. You could say the same thing about Garrett Wilson. It's all based on potential. The numbers have never been there for Garrett Wilson. But he got more than Amon-Ra St. Brown because it's just the salary cap continues to go up every offseason, and players end up making more money. If they wait...
Will Trey Hendrickson make more than Myles Garrett or TJ Watt?
Not from the Bengals.
Because the Bengals beat writers don't believe that, right? Like, the Bengals beat writers have put that in the mid-30s.
Yeah,
why would he not make
the
more
Bengals
as he's
situation
led?
is hard to compare anything to. I don't want to compare Lions situations to Bengals
bad
situations.
Or poor ownership. But he's led the league in sacks 2 years.
Right.
Why wouldn't he make more?
You would think so. But the Bengals have already basically said we're not doing that. I think this is a failure on behalf of Brad Holmes regardless. Even if Aiden Hutchinson, you're making the point, could have waited, make extra few $1 million the longer you wait. Okay, then get out ahead of it and say, before Garrett even gets this $40 million deal, and Nick Bosa's the highest paid guy at $34 million, hell, you could have given Aiden Hutchinson the oh my God contract of $40 million a season that Myles Garrett got. And then guess what? Myles Garrett would have been asking for more money than that. TJ Watt would have been asking for more money than that. No matter what, I say that the least you could have given him is $35 million to make him the highest paid edge in the league. You could have given him the 40 and just made everyone lose their minds. I can't believe how much you overpaid Aiden Hutchinson. But then as soon as Myles Garrett, everyone had that reaction when Garrett signed the contract. It was, why are you giving a non-quarterback $40 million a year? You could have done that with Hutchinson. It would have turned some heads. It would have caused some question marks across the league. But I think internally everyone believes Aiden Hutchinson's going to become that guy, that face of the franchise. And then Myles Garrett is making 42 instead. TJ Watt's making 43 instead. You had a chance to kind of jump the curb of everybody, jump ahead of everyone, the same way you did with St. Brown. The same way, who didn't have the fifth-year option, to your point. You did it with Jared Goff. You did it with Penei Sewell, who did, in fact, have the fifth-year option as a first-round pick. For some reason, they chose not to do it, or at least they weren't able to get it done with Aiden Hutchinson. And I think it's one of Brad Holmes' biggest mistakes so far as the GM of the Lions. 989-837-6125. What do you think? Would you have made Aiden Hutchinson the highest-paid edge in the league, or did Brad Holmes really have a screw-up here? 989-837-6125. We'll get to some messages, read some comments in the YouTube as well. Keep things rolling here. It's the Ben Bosscher Show, live on 100.9 The Mip.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
Detours driving you bonkers? Ideal Party Store's got your back with the Detour discount. While the Lafayette Bridge is closed, enjoy 10% off select craft beer 6-packs and 10% off 4 bottles of select wine, 750 milliliters or more, with 2 great locations, 908 North Johnson on the east side and 401 Salzburg on the west side. Ideal Party Store makes every detour worth it. Serving Bay City since 1934, we're here to make you the life of the party.
All fans on deck. It's Pontooners Weekend with the Great Lakes Loons. July 24th through 27th, presented by Sugar Springs Marine. Kick things off with our koozie giveaway and beer run on Thursday, with Yacht Rock on Friday. Saturday brings a bucket hat giveaway and a fireworks loontacular presented by Farm Bureau Insurance. The weekend wraps up with Super Splash Sunday and Meet the Team Day. For tickets, visit loons.com.
The Ben Bosscher Show is brand new, and to celebrate, we want to make sure one listener is a big winner every Wednesday.
That's what this is all about. It always has been about.
Every Wednesday this summer at 10:15 a.m., we're going to be giving away tickets to the hottest team in baseball, the Detroit Tigers. This is your chance to head to Comerica Park on us, and thanks to our friends over at Garber Chevrolet Midland. Again, Detroit Tigers tickets every Wednesday at 10:15 a.m. on the Ben Bosscher Show on 100.9 The Mid.
From the hometown heroes to the college legends to the pros on Sunday, 100.9 The Mitt is your home for wall-to-wall play-by-play coverage. High school football, basketball, and hockey.
Region champions for the first time in school history.
Michigan State football and basketball.
Touchdown, MSU!
The NFL, Thursday, Sunday, and Monday night primetime games. And don't think we forgot about your hometown team. The Great Lakes Loons.
That ball's over and out of here.
100.9 The Mitt.
Let's pick out a good wine. Let's discover a new taste from a new place. Let's meet the people who handpick the grapes in places dedicated to the craft, in a land that only knows one way to grow things, rich and full. Welcome to Michigan, where the 4 seasons and 4 Great Lakes smile on the winemaker, where the quality of the wine is exceeded only by the warmth of the greeting waiting for us. And with more than 90 wineries, covering more than 13,000 acres, the harvest has never been better. So let's wander through lush vineyards, discover hidden treasures in vast cellars, and renew ourselves in comfortable tasting rooms. Let's all raise a glass. Let's gather our closest friends and become even closer. Because taking time to toast the beauty and bounty of life is pure Michigan. Your trip begins at Michigan.org.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
You know what?
989-837-6125. Welcome back in to the Ben Bosscher Show right here live on 100.9 The Mid. So here's what we've got going on. We posed the question, did Brad Holmes make a huge mistake in not paying Aiden Hutchinson early? I say absolutely. This is Brad Holmes' biggest, most colossal mistake he's had so far as his tenure with the Detroit Lions as their GM. He got away with it with Amon-Ra St. Brown, did it with Penei Sewell, did it with Jared Goff. All of those contracts look great a year later. With Hutchinson, he didn't get ahead. He didn't do it early, and now you're paying the consequences of it because guys like TJ Watt, Myles Garrett, Max Crosby, Danielle Hunter all got paid already this offseason, and now suddenly Aiden Hutchinson is a $40 million a year player. Probably wants more than the TJ Watt contract. So let's get to a couple texts here. How are you going to pay a guy coming off a broken leg when you haven't seen what he's capable of? We know what pre-injury Aiden Hutchinson was, but what about post-injury Aiden Hutchinson? They have to be careful, and anyone thinking otherwise is ignorant. Here's where I disagree with you, Nat. Where I do agree we have to see what Aiden Hutchinson looks like post-leg injury. What do you think? You think they're just not going to pay him if he has somewhat of a down year? He is getting paid by the Lions. He's getting this second contract by the Lions. All you're doing right now is delaying the inevitable by not getting it done. There's no circumstance, there is no scenario where Aiden Hutchinson just gets let go or doesn't sign a new contract with the Detroit Lions. This guy's going to be a Lion for life. He's taken second overall. He's from Detroit. He's from Michigan. He embodies everything that Dan Campbell wants in a Detroit Lion. He's going to be here for a long time. And yes, I get it. The leg injury, under most circumstances, would be a concern. But with how much you trust him internally and how much you trust him to rehab this thing and work his butt off to get back to the field, you feel like he's going to come back 100% or at least 90% of what he was. And if he's 90% of what he was, he's a perennial defensive player of the year candidate. So,
and Ben, the other thing there is like I guess see that he's coming back from a leg injury, but then if you're the Lions, you're kind of dividing yourself on a fork of we hope he plays really well, which is obvious. We want to win a Super Bowl. And now he's exceeding expectations or meeting expectations, and now you have to pay him even more. Mm-hmm. Or, to this guy's comment, he actually struggles because of the leg injury, and now you're asking for him to be worse than he was.
Right.
Like, you're going to be cheering for him. You want him to be really good post-leg injury, which means he's going to demand more money. Or, to this guy's point, wait and see what he looks like after the leg injury. What are you kind of hoping that he's 70% of what he was?
Yeah. You want him to succeed every expectation.
Yeah.
I don't think the leg injury should be taken into consideration at all when it comes to making this decision, which may sound ignorant, but I do think that this is a very specific situation where you're taking a guy from the hometown. Like it's a very unique situation, granted the age, the history, where he was drafted, all that stuff. One more that says, I agree people act like he's a robot, not a human. He suffered a horrific injury, so there isn't a single person on earth who can predict how he'll perform after this and for years to come. I guess, but like I don't know. You can say the same thing about guys who are non-injured. You kind of just got to let this thing play out. But it's not like Aiden Hutchinson's going to suck all of a sudden. No one's predicting that. It's hard to predict how guys come back from injury, but I'm not going to sit here and say, well, I think he's not going to be very good. He was well on his way to being a defensive player of the year. Like he was the favorite at plus 320 when he got hurt last season. So I don't think he's all of a sudden going to be a completely different player. This seems like a situation where if he comes back 90% of himself, we're going to be pretty satisfied with everything that he's giving the Detroit Lions. Jacob says, if anyone on our team would be agreeable to a team-friendly deal if necessary, I think it would be Hutch. He deserves the bag for sure, and salary cap will continue to increase. I'm not worried. You know what bothers me more than, a lot of things bother me. But when people just start throwing out, I think this guy would take a team-friendly deal. I saw this with Goff nonstop last season. Oh, Goff's just going to take a salary cut, take a pay cut to help the team win a Super Bowl. It's like that doesn't happen in the real world. No player other than Tom Brady's like, you know what? I'm actually okay leaving a lot of money on the table in order to try to win a Super Bowl. I don't expect Hutchinson to do that. He's 24 years old. He should be chasing every single dollar that he possibly can. Same thing with Jared Goff. Like, there was never going to be a circumstance where Goff was going to take this team-friendly deal. He was always going to ask for the amount that he got. And as a reminder, when Goff got paid, he was the second highest paid quarterback in the NFL. Now you have guys like Trevor Lawrence, Tua Tagovailoa making more money than him. So again, the Lions paid their guy early, and it paid off. Brock Purdy making more than him now. They got ahead of the curve last season. They weren't able to do it so far this year. And the scariest part is now that Hutchinson is probably a $40 million a year player, guess who else still needs to be paid? It's not so much that Hutchinson is going to be making all this money. It's how on earth are the Lions going to pay Brian Branch $20 million now? How are they also going to pay Sam Laporta $20 million now? How are they going to pay Jameson Williams $30 million? Oh, you don't think Jameson Williams a $30 million player? Well, Brandon Ayuk's a $30 million player, and I think Jameson Williams is better than him. Jalen Waddle's a $28 million player. I think Jameson Williams is pretty better. Is a lot better than Jalen Waddle, actually. Bare minimum, and they've got some time to decide with the fifth-year option. He's not a free agent until after 26. Stephon Diggs is making $21 million. He's on the wrong side of 30 coming off a torn ACL. So if you don't think Jameson Williams is set to make at the bare minimum $20 million, I've got a news flash for you. He is. So you've got J-Mo, Laporta, and Brian Branch with due for extensions next offseason, all set to make $20 million plus. Where are you getting the money for this? That's why it's so frustrating that they waited for Aiden Hutchinson, because that $6 million extra that it's going to cost them per season, or that's kind of a ballpark estimate, but let's say it's costing them an extra $6 million per season for waiting to pay Aiden Hutchinson at the end of the summer rather than the beginning of the calendar year. That kind of stuff's going to add up. Like, the Lions are already running out of money for the following offseason. Right? They've got a ton of money right now to spend if they wanted to just give up. If they wanted to go sign Zadarius Smith right now, they've got $13 million in the bank to be able to do so. It's the following offseason and the offseason after that where they are kind of just out of money. Guess who I haven't even brought up yet? Jahmyr Gibbs. What's that contract going to look like? Who else? Who else you want to bring into this conversation? Like, Lee McNeil already got paid. It is crazy how many of these studs are due for extensions. And that brings us full circle back to the Alex Anzalone conversation of Lord knows whether or not this guy's even going to show up on Saturday. I wouldn't if I was him. There's no reason to show up unless you have a new contract because he's earned it. But again, I just don't think the Lions have the money to be able to pay him. 989-837-6125. Brad Holmes, was it a colossal mistake not paying Aiden Hutchinson early? B-Tons, we ready for the mid-morning update?
Sure.
The Mits Morning Catch.
Now, what's going on in the news today, B-Tons?
That means I've got to put myself on the screen here. Here we go. Mid-morning catch, looking good. Let's start things out with some NFL news. We're talking about TJ Watt. Let's just lay out the full details there as you did in the opening segment, but let's make it a part of the mid-morning catch. 3 years, $143 million. $123 million, beg your pardon. How many guaranteed dollars, Ben?
108, right?
108.
You know how many career sacks he has?
109?
108.
108.
Coincidence or not coincidence?
Maybe. That is kind of cool, though.
I think that's not a coincidence, to be honest.
All right. He does average 15.2 sacks per 17-game average in the NFL, which is more than your boy, Aiden Hutchinson. Also 4 AP All-Pro teams and a Defensive Player of the Year. Aiden Hutchinson doesn't have any of those. Other NFL news, Anthony Bellino got into it this morning a little bit, but Lloyd Howell is out as the NFLPA Executive Director. He resigned late yesterday after a lot of disturbing stuff has been coming out via some FBI and ESPN reporting, financial dealings related to some licensing firms. Last week, ESPN reported that Howell was working as a paid part-time consultant for one of a league-approved private equity firms that was seeking ownership in an NFL team. Feels like a conflict of interest. ESPN also reported last week that Howell struck a confidentiality agreement with the NFL 6 months ago that hid from players the details of a January arbitration decision. And earlier Thursday, ESPN reported Howell was sued for sexual discrimination. All of this has led to his resignation.
Bunch of bad guys running NFL teams and running the league. What's new?
What's new? NBA Summer League for the Pistons is done. I don't like being live here. You're going back up.
You can do the split screen. You know that, right?
Yeah, I don't like it.
Okay.
So, Summer League done for the Pistons. They finished 3-1. Bobby Klintman and Dennis Jenkins carrying the load in Game 4 after no Ron Holland. Any thoughts?
I was surprised Ron Holland even played in Game 3, but those first 2 games, he looked like one of the best players, if not the best player playing in Summer League. So I'm excited to see what Ron Holland can bring to the table this season. You're more optimistic on Ron Holland than I think anybody. You had him as the second most important piece to this Pistons team. I still have him third behind Caden Assar, but hey, if he can keep shooting the ball like he did in Summer League, he's going to be a nice piece to this team and this rotation.
Yes, I think he is the second best asset in the org right now.
Do you think him and Assar can start together?
Yes, very easily.
So
and they will next year.
So you think Ivy is coming off the bench?
They will start together next year.
Not this. Okay, never mind.
Next year. Ron Holland is the 4 of the future.
Kind of small for a 4.
He'll get bigger. He's 6'8". Fill out to about 215, 220.
That's the goal.
He'll look like you. Hey, that's all I've got for the mid-morning catch.
All right. There you have it. That is our mid-morning catch. All right, 989-837-6125. When we come back, some more texts, and we'll get to the Tigers in the 10 o'clock hour, but we did get some more news regarding Detroit Lions camp, which begins on Sunday. The veterans have until Saturday to report, but a few key players from last season are going to be out to open up the 2025 campaign. That is next here on the Ben Bosscher Show on 100.9 The Mid. Don't go anywhere. Bright smiles start at Scott Family Dental, where comfort, care, and clean teeth come at a standard. Locally owned by Brandon Scott, a native of the Great Lakes Bay region, the business is family-focused. They treat patients of all ages like kids of their own. From routine checkups to whitenings, crowns, and more, they've got the tools and the gentle touch to keep your smile shining. Friendly staff, modern tech, zero judgment, zero pain, even if it's been a while since your last visit. So go ahead, show off those pearly whites. Scott Family Dental has your back and your teeth.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
The Great Lakes Loons are coming off 9 consecutive games at home, a homestand against the Whitecaps and the Lugnuts. Took 2 of 3 from West Michigan 2 weeks ago. Lansing took 4 of 6 from the Loons this past week, but still some great offensive performances, including Cameron Decker, who had 5 hits on the week, including 2 homers, 1 on Tuesday and 1 on Sunday. The lone Loons run on Sunday afternoon.
35-19.
Oh, as Decker swings, puts it in the air to deep left. Does he have another this week? Oh, yeah! Decker dinger in the 9th. Loons on the board, avoid getting shut out. It's the All-Star break, so the Loons won't be in action until Friday. They're out in Dayton, Ohio to take on the Dragons. First pitch, 7:05 on the Mid. It's the Scholar Athlete of the Month, proudly presented by Fisher Companies here on Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt. This month's recipient is Scarlett Mason from Standish Sterling High School. With a 4.3 GPA, Scarlett's a member of the track and field team and a state champion in swimming. Scarlett, a member of the National Honor Society, and PALS, a student support group.
We get qualified, and then we are someone that if a student is uncomfortable talking to an adult, they can come talk to us about what's going on at home or whatever they're struggling with. The biggest thing was it raised mental health awareness, and I think that's huge in high school.
Scarlett will be attending and swimming at Wayne State in the fall. To hear the full interview and nominate a local athlete for our scholarship program, visit 1009themit.com.
The doctors at Midland Eye Care want you to know a comprehensive eye exam is the only way to protect and detect vision-related disease. It goes beyond improved vision from glasses or contact lenses. Many common eye diseases such as glaucoma, diabetic eye disease, and age-related macular degeneration often have no warning signs. A dilated eye exam is the only way to detect these diseases in their early stages. This message brought to you by Midland Eye Care, your vision source on Eastman Road in Midland, on Cedar and Gladwin, and now on East Washington in Freeland.
Suit up, Sea Captain. At Dive and Glide in Midland, we've got all the gear you need to make a splash. Flippers that fit like a glove, masks that show you the underwater magic, and tanks ready to fuel your next adventure. Whether you're snorkeling the local lakes or dreaming of ocean depths, Dive and Glide has your back and your fins. Find us on Cambridge Street or swim over to diveandglideinc.com. Dive and Glide, making waves one splash at a time so you can dive deeper than ever before.
When the summer heat is on, keep your cool with Answer Heating and Cooling. Our expert team specializes in fast, reliable air conditioning repairs, installations, and maintenance. Stay comfortable all season long with top-notch cooling solutions and simply outstanding service. Plus, with financing options and special rebates, cooling your home has never been more affordable. Answer Heating and Cooling, where comfort is our priority. Try our new schedule online option or call us today.
Timeout.
All right. Remember, we're a team that plays together. Listen, the winning will take care of itself. We just have to get everyone involved.
In interscholastic sports, we celebrate what makes every one of us unique. And in the pursuit of a common goal, everyone in the huddle, in the bleachers, and in the community comes together. This message presented by the MHSAA and the Michigan Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
989-837-6125. We've been recapping the Aiden Hutchinson situation. He's still without a contract. TJ Watt gets paid yesterday. All of a sudden, Hutchinson looks like he's going to be a $40 million a year player. 989-837-6125. You guys can send in MIT messages or leave a chat, comment in the YouTube chat or Facebook chat as well. We've got a text from Ryan coming in that says, all you're doing is fear-mongering. Just stop. You have no idea how the salary cap works in the NFL. I feel like I have a pretty good understanding of how the salary cap works in the NFL until stuff like the Kirby Joseph contract gets put in front of my face, and then I'm like, I guess I don't understand this. But does anyone really understand the salary cap? I don't know. Okay. Two defensive linemen are both going to be missing the beginning of the season for the Detroit Lions. Obviously, Aleem McNeil is not going to be healthy to open up the year. Probably not getting him back until around Thanksgiving. That's a ballpark estimate. But we did find out yesterday that Levi Onwuzurike is going to start the season on the PUP list, despite finishing the season healthy last year. Did play in that divisional game against the Commanders and didn't appear to get hurt. But because he's beginning the season on the PUP list, well, that means he's going to miss at least the first 4 weeks of the regular season. So all of a sudden, the Lions are out without McNeil and Levi Onwuzurike. How big of an impact does that really have? Well, in 2024, those two guys, in addition to Aiden Hutchinson, all led the team in pressures with 45. So suddenly you're removing Aleem McNeil and Levi Onwuzurike from the situation, and from the interior, you are without your two best pass rushers. Both of them had career seasons. Aleem McNeil was, I don't want to say well on his way to making an all-pro team, but if he would have stayed healthy those last 3 weeks of the season, he would have had a chance at either an all-pro season or a Pro Bowl season, especially considering the Lions' record. I think he probably would have got nominated and put into that Pro Bowl game. Not that that matters a whole lot, but career high in hurries, career high in tackles for losses when it comes to stuff in the run, career high in sacks. He had 4 sacks. His career high is 5. I think it's safe to say he would have at least tied his career high. And when you're getting those sacks from the interior, that may as well count as like 7-8 sacks, something like that. Like I said, career high in pressures too, tied for most on the team. That was just last year for Aleem McNeil. Levi Onwuzurike obviously has dealt with a ton of injuries in his career, and last year was the first time he had really stayed healthy. 3 sacks, career high, started 10 games, played 635 snaps on this defensive line. That would be the most of anyone on the Detroit Lions last season. No one played more snaps than Levi Onwuzurike. So suddenly, and by the way, with Levi, you can play him lined up against the tackle. You can play him on the inside of the tackle. You can play him outside of the tackle. He's kind of one of those guys that you can just put anywhere, and that's why I thought it was so valuable that the Lions got him back on a $4 million deal. This was basically you were amazing last season. All your peers got about $10 million more than you, but you got to prove that you can stay healthy. 1 year doesn't prove it. And somehow over the course of the offseason, he's already hurt. Kind of been the story of his career, dealing with that back stuff. Missed his entire sophomore season due to the back injuries that plagued him even coming into the NFL. Regardless, you're without him for the first 4 weeks of the season. You're without Ali McNeill for the first 4 weeks of the season. And you can make the argument, hey, you get Aiden Hutchinson back and you're automatically better, but losing your top two guys from the interior spot, and I know DJ Reader's still there, but that's a nose tackle who's there to stuff runs, not get after the pass rusher, or not get after the quarterback. McNeill and Onwuzurike are your pass rush guys from the interior. And now you're without both of them for the first 4 weeks of the season, at least. Because nobody knows what's going on with Levi. He just got thrown on the PUP list yesterday, and it was like, what happened? We haven't heard Dan Campbell speak since then. The defensive line has always been the strength of the Detroit Lions, even back in 2022 when they weren't really world beaters. 23 when they turned things around in the second half. They've always had a good unit when it comes to stuffing the run and getting after the quarterback. They were a top 6 team against the run back-to-back seasons in terms of yards against per game. But you're losing 2 of your top 3 pass rushers. And not to mention Ali McNeill, Levi Onwuzurike, both had career years stuffing the run as well. What this now tells me is, hey, Tyleik Williams, first-round pick, Ohio State, 28th overall, you are now starting. The Lions always like to say, we do it based on merit. You show up to camp, we want competition. We're going to do it based on who has the best camp. There is no other option to start at the 3 tech at the defensive tackle spot than Tyleik Williams if both McNeill and Levi Onwuzurike are healthy. Unless they want to bring Josh Pascal in, but that's not really, that's more of a get after the quarterback person, not someone you want out there for all 3 downs. Suddenly there's a Lions rookie out there, and this is very rare, that is just being thrown into the starting spot. There's not really another option. So if the Lions want to keep this defensive line as one of their top units and this run defense as one of their best strengths, Tyleik Williams is going to have to perform right from week 1. And we kind of, floated this back and forth a little bit earlier this week and last week with camp starting here soon of what's it going to look like. Is Tyleik Williams going to jump right into his starting spot? Are him and Levi Onwuzurike splitting snaps? It's not really a question anymore. There's not really another option. Tyleik Williams, welcome to the starting lineup. The Lions are going to be without 2 of their top guys on the defensive line to open up their season, Brad. And, as strong as this schedule is, I can't say I feel great about it,
Agreed, especially for something that has been such a strength over the years. I mean, the same goes for the offensive line too, right? Like, I'm sure we're going to get into Tate Rutledge today about finally getting him signed and probably the impact that he's going to have to make early on.
Yeah, both the Lions' top 2 picks kind of being thrown right into the mix with some pretty lofty expectations.
But this is also kind of predictive, or at least foreshadowing for what is going to be coming for many years, I think, as the financial crunch happens to the Lions. Like, teams that are paying this amount of salary to high-end guys, and as we continue to talk through all the names that are going to be paid, with the golf contract hitting next year with Hutchinson and Amon-Ra and Penei and the Decker money still on the books. Correct, is right. They have to figure out a way to have rookies contribute, because that's the only way to find a phase 2 to this Super Bowl window. If this year is the window, the extension of that window while still paying all of your high-end guys, which at this point they have not really conceded on or have made a sacrifice in. Everyone is being paid. Maybe Alex Anzalone is going to be the first one that really catches them. But for now, everyone's being paid. And in order to continue to do that and then make some tough decisions over the next couple of years, rookies got to hit. Rookie deal players got to hit. And so this is the first real test of that. Now, it'd be nice if Terrion Arnold would also hit. It'd be nice if some other players would also hit, but rookie deals have to start to hit.
Yeah, for the first time, and we brought this up yesterday too, it feels like for the first time, at least from this point forward, the Lions are going to be... Brad Holmes isn't just adding talent via the draft anymore. He's replacing talent, which is a much more difficult thing to do when you're going to be losing out on guys like Anzalone. McNeil's a little bit different because he's hurt. But yeah, everyone's being paid right now. Eventually, you're going to have to start making some tough decisions in replenishing talent rather than just adding talent via the draft. And it gets even harder because you're drafting at the end of the first round, at least in the 20s, from this point forward if things keep going well. So yeah, this is it's getting harder from this point forward, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Not to say that the window's over, this is their only opportunity, but it probably is their only opportunity with all the guys that you fell in love with over the past couple of years. And then you're going to have to start retooling some things, similar to the way San Fran did. They went to 2 different Super Bowls, 2 different quarterbacks, a lot of different roster changes. The Rams did the same thing. The Eagles did the same thing. All those teams went there with different quarterbacks, though. The Lions are going to have to just do it with different players because Jared Goff obviously is not going anywhere anytime soon. Him getting a new contract last offseason. 989-837-6125. Brad mentioned it. The Tate Ratledge drama, I guess, is where I'd consider it, is in fact over. Tate Ratledge, for anyone who didn't know, was not under contract until late last night. I'll tell you why and all about it when we come back. It is the Ben Bosscher Show live on 100.9 The Mitt. Hey, your dream lawn, yeah, Cervinsky sod can in fact roll that out. Literally. Locally grown, top quality sod that turns patchy yards into backyard showstoppers. And they've been doing it for over 50 years, so you can consider them experts. Whether you're fixing a rough spot or redoing your whole yard, Cervinsky delivers lush, green perfection. Fast, friendly, and farm fresh because your grass should be greener right now. Don't settle for increase the value of your home. Get the lawn your neighbors will envy with Cervinsky sod.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
Something happens when we can't be our true selves. You can hear it in our laughs. There's the half-hearted chuckle. The courtesy conference caller.
Yeah, great.
And of course, the I'm only laughing because I'm dating your daughter.
Oh, that's so true.
If you want to laugh for real, try having some Miller Lite with some friends. It works. It's Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. 2021 Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin beer.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Ace Hardware and Sports in downtown Midland has some extra savings for rewards members this month. Let's clean up that yard. Save $3 instantly on select Roundup and Ortho weed killers. Save $10 on 64-ounce spruce, weed, and grass killer. You know what season it is? Grilling season. Free assembly and delivery on grills, $399 and up from brands like Weber and Traeger. Need that deck touched up? Do it and save $10 instantly on a gallon of Cabot exterior stain.
All fans on deck. It's Pontooners Weekend with the Great Lakes Loons. July 24th through 27th, presented by Sugar Springs Marine. Kick things off with our koozie giveaway and beer run on Thursday, with Yacht Rock on Friday. Saturday brings a bucket hat giveaway and a fireworks loontacular presented by Farm Bureau Insurance. The weekend wraps up with Super Splash Sunday and Meet the Team Day. For tickets, visit loons.com. Scrolling? Make it count. Want local sports content that actually matters? Yeah. 100.9 The Mitt is loaded with local highlights, viral plays, breaking sports news, and takes you can't get enough of.
It's hot!
Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube today, and you'll never be out of the loop on the Lions, Tigers, Pistons, Red Wings, Michigan State, and even the biggest stories in high school sports in the Great Lakes Bay region. 100.9 The Mitt, Mid-Michigan's sports leader.
I'm Ben Bosscher, and here's what I think. I think replay should be taken out of basketball entirely. I think 2 super conferences would fix college football. I think the best football, basketball, and baseball players of all time are currently playing. I think the day the Lions win the Super Bowl is going to be the greatest day of my life. I think Monty Williams sabotaged the Pistons on purpose, and you can't convince me otherwise. I think Jim Harbaugh is one of the best coaches of all time, but most definitely cheated, got caught, and ran away. And I think you should tune into the Ben Bosscher Show, fueled by Forward Energy, weekdays 9 to noon on 100.9 The Mitt if you agree with anything I just said.
This is more than just a lineup. It's a daily ritual for the die-hard Michigan sports fans. At 6 a.m., Anthony Bellino wakes up the state with Spin on Sports.
I do not believe it.
At 9, the Ben Bosscher Show is appointment listening hosted here in the Great Lakes Bay region.
I would like to buy some Casey Mize stock.
America's Best takes over at noon. The Herd with Colin Cowherd.
Well, what about Patrick Mahomes?
And at 3, Bill Simonson brings it home on The Huge Show. Sports Radio 100.9 The Mid for the most passionate fans in Michigan.
They tell us we're more connected these days. We have cell phones, email, text messaging, yet we've never felt more disconnected from the people we care about the most. We need a place that's all about bringing us together. Say hello to the Great Lakes Bay region, where towns like Saginaw, Midland, Bay City, Birch Run, Chesaning, and Frankenmuth help us leave behind the overscheduled world we live in and visit a place we haven't seen in a while. One where the people make us feel right at home. And we remember just how bright our kids' eyes get, peeking through a riverboat railing, just to catch a glimpse of the wildlife. So let's go fishing, bird watching. Let's blow the suds off a local tap, take a tall ship dinner cruise at sunset, or stop by a festival just because the name made us smile. Right here in the Great Lakes Bay region, where reconnecting with what really matters is pure Michigan. Your trip begins at michigan.org.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
Welcome back in. It's the Ben Bosscher Show live on 100.9 The Mid. Ben Bosscher with you as always. Brad Tunney producing today behind the glass.
Yeah.
Thanks. Tate Ratledge, the Lions' second-round pick who slotted to kind of get thrown in right to the starting center job with Frank Ragnow announcing his retirement a couple weeks ago, has finally signed his contract. There was kind of a wave of this new era of second-round picks this season. Well, kind of. 2 second-round picks very early on, one from Houston and one from Cleveland, both signed fully guaranteed contracts, and that led to the other 30 second-round picks kind of just sitting around and going, well, if they're getting guaranteed money, I certainly want guaranteed money. So yesterday morning, 30 different second-round picks were kind of just sitting around like, we're not signing any contracts until you can guarantee us some money. Well, the couple guys ended up signing throughout the course of yesterday, and Tate Ratledge ended up signing last night. Rookies were supposed to report to camp on Wednesday, but since they weren't under contract ever, they weren't getting fined or anything. So Ratledge finally able to be there today with camp officially starting on Sunday, which is obviously, big for the Lions because you need to get your rookie involved, especially if he's going to be the starting center at some point this year. You think that's probably just going to be week 1. You obviously want him to get the reps, but it's more important in this scenario. The Lions no longer have to worry about that aspect of, they don't have to worry about that aspect of training camp anymore. The only other person that they have to worry about a little bit regarding a contract situation is Alex Anzalone. And we talked about this a good amount yesterday, and the more and more I thought about it after the show ends, I actually think the Lions need to call this guy's bluff. Make him show up to camp. Make him make a decision about showing up to camp on Saturday. Alex Anzalone doesn't have a new contract. He's already spoken publicly about it a couple months ago. Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell actually, not Brad Holmes. Dan Campbell's made comments about it in the past couple of months, the few times he's gotten in front of the podium. Anzalone wants a new contract, and as we went through with Branch, Laporta, Jamison Williams, and Aiden Hutchinson, I just don't know if there's enough money to pay a guy like Alex Anzalone. But with that being said, he's earned every penny of it. And I wouldn't blame him for not showing up on Saturday. But if we've learned anything about Alex Anzalone, is this guy just loves football. So if I'm the Lions, and I know for a fact I probably just don't have the money to pay this guy, I'd call his bluff. Let's see if he actually shows up to camp on Saturday. He hasn't threatened to not show up. I just want to make that clear. But again, if I was his agent, I'd be telling him, there's no way Derek Barnes is getting paid and you're not. So don't show up, and then that's going to put the Lions into a tough situation, tough situation. Because if he doesn't show up, all of a sudden, for the first time, Brad Holmes is kind of sitting there like, this has never happened before. Alex Anzalone kind of controls what happens. Kind of has the Lions, back against the wall in this scenario, because if Alex Anzalone's serious about this and doesn't show up to camp, I almost think the Lions have no choice but to pay him with Malcolm Rodriguez hurt for the first half of the year, recovering from an ACL. And then they kind of just have to pay the consequences of it down the line, which becomes scary considering Branch, Laporta, J-Mo, Hutch all still need new contracts. Gibbs you can throw in there too. Jack Campbell's another name we haven't mentioned. If Anzalone doesn't show up, though, I don't know what other choice they have than to sit at the table with them and basically knock out a contract as soon as possible. Where do you stand on this, Brad?
What's your evidence or your reasoning for thinking that there's a chance he doesn't show up Monday?
I don't have he's made public comments about it, that he wants the new contract. And I'm just thinking about it if I was in his shoes. I look around like, okay, McNeil got paid, Barnes got paid, Kirby Joseph got paid. Feels like I'm the only guy that hasn't been paid here. And he's played like a top 10 linebacker for the past 3 years. I would, if I was him, not be showing up to camp unless I had a new contract. So that's kind of the way I look at it.
And that number for you is what for him?
About $12 million a year. Dre Greenlaw got $10.5 million. He's the 11th highest paid linebacker in the NFL.
And if you're the Lions, you let him play that out?
What do you mean let him play it out? Let him play out this year on the contract?
Yes, correct. With no extension.
Yeah. Because I just don't, again, I'm not a cap wizard. I'm sure, let's get that out of the way, because that's my favorite thing that people text in. Brad Holmes knows more than you. Yeah, I'm sure he does know how to manage the cap a little bit more than me. And maybe they can figure out something like the Kirby Joseph contract, where you look at it and it's just voided for 5 years after the contract actually ends. Yeah, maybe they can figure something like that out. But just from a fundamental standpoint, you look at Branch, you look at Laporta, J-Mo, Hutch, all these guys that need money.
Yeah, you don't have to relitigate everyone who needs money.
Sorry, I just don't simply understand where they're getting the money to pay a guy like Alex Anzalone, who's been a great player for the Lions since he's shown up with Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell in 2021, but at the end of the day is pretty low on the totem pole in terms of the guys who need the new contract. He could show up to camp on Saturday and this whole entire narrative gets thrown out the window. But I'm just kind of floating it out there. I'm not going to be shocked if he's not there.
Fair enough.
And I think that's the right thing to do if you're the Lions. You don't really have the money to pay him, so you kind of just have to call his bluff and say, let's bank on the fact that he loves football and is showing up to camp on Saturday for the beginning of camp, which officially starts on Sunday. So here's what we've got going on the rest of the show. 10 o'clock hour. It's Christmas in July, man. What's on your second half wish list for the Detroit Tigers? We're going to take a trip around the league as we always do. Is it World Series or bust for the rest of the season? Is that where we are with this Detroit Tigers team? Because that's kind of where I was last year, and I got a lot of pushback for that. But they were so hot at the end of the season that I kind of was just sitting there like, this feels like a chance to go to the World Series. Why would it not be World Series or bust? So here's my question, everyone. Is it disappointing if the Tigers do not win a World Series this season? Like I said, that in Christmas in July, what's on your second half Tigers wish list? That is all coming up in the 10 o'clock hour. Stay tuned. It is the Ben Bosscher Show with Brad Tunney behind the glass today, producing for us with Kyle on the road. It is the Ben Bosscher Show, live on 100.9 The Mid.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
From making athletic footwear stronger and lighter to powering the future of electric racing vehicles, material science and R&D are the MVPs of innovation. At Dow, we collaborate with customers and partners to tackle a wide range of sports product challenges with cutting-edge advancements in technology. Dow's innovations can help to improve performance and sustainability throughout the world of sports. Dow, at the intersection of sports and science.
Since 2007, the Michigan Baseball Foundation has invested over $1.8 million into our communities, supporting over 350 projects across 14 Michigan counties. From restoring Alma Little League fields to creating nature-based classrooms at the Chippewa Nature Center and enhancing accessibility at the middle of the Mitt Miracle Field, MBF is making a real difference. Every ticket to a Great Lakes Loons game helps fund these initiatives. Join us in building a stronger, more vibrant community. Learn more at MichiganBaseballFoundation.org.
All fans on deck. It's Pontooners Weekend with the Great Lakes Loons. July 24th through 27th, presented by Sugar Springs Marine. Kick things off with our koozie giveaway and beer run on Thursday, with Yacht Rock on Friday. Saturday brings a bucket hat giveaway and a fireworks loontacular presented by Farm Bureau Insurance. The weekend wraps up with Super Splash Sunday and Meet the Team Day. For tickets, visit loons.com.
At the Great Lakes Loons, our commitment to community goes beyond the ballpark. Through the Volunteer program, Loon staff and even players roll up their sleeves to serve the Great Lakes Bay region. From packing food boxes to reading in classrooms and even cleaning up local camps and parks, it's hands-on work that helps build a stronger, more connected community. Volunteer isn't just what we do, it's who we are. Because being part of this region means showing up when it counts. The Great Lakes Loons, serving the Great Lakes Bay region since 2007.
Local sports don't stop when the game ends, and neither do we. 100.9 The Myth is your digital home for the latest news across the state of Michigan. From high school to college and the pros, it's all on our socials. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Just search 100.9 The Myth and join the squad. Stay locked in on the latest stats and stories with exclusive video takes from local talent. Sports Radio 100.9 The Myth.
Attention high school sports fans, are you an armchair official? You know, the parent or fan who constantly yells at the referees and loves to let everyone know just how bad you think they are. Well, if you think you could do better, then get in the game and prove it. It's time for you to suit up and make the calls where they actually count. Every sport in Michigan needs more officials. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
From the Blazy Electric Studios, this is Sports Radio 100.9 The Myth, WLUN, Pinconning Bay City, Saginaw, Midland.
Ten o'clock hour. Welcome back into the Ben Bosscher Show live on 100.9 The Myth. Let's work some Tigers in. All-Star break's officially over. We've got baseball back in our lives. We did get a little bit of news earlier today. I guess it's not news as much as it is a headline, but Eugenio Suarez interested in becoming a Detroit Tiger. I think that's interesting because if they are willing to do that, and I've always said, hey, it seems like a good fit, but why take Zach McKinstry out of the lineup with how well he's playing? I mean, he's an all-star for God's sake. If you're going to trade for an everyday third baseman, below average one, by the way, you're not taking Zach McKinstry out of the lineup. So where does he end up playing? Is it an everyday shortstop? Does that mean Javi Baez is back in the outfield? Does that mean Parker Meadows is being sent down? Does that mean Zach McKinstry's in one of the corners in the outfield and then Kerry Carpenter and Wenzel Perez are kind of your platoon guys out there? Interesting to think about. We'll circle back to that here in a little bit, but I wanted to know what's on everyone's Tigers wish list for the 2025 second half of the season, because I have a couple of things. My number one thing would be a relief pitcher, and I think that goes without saying. One guy that comes to mind right now, and I know both of those Twins guys seem to be up for sale. I just highly doubt Minnesota's going to want to do business with a team within the division to try to help out the Tigers in any way, so I'm looking to the NL. David Bednar of the Pirates, right-handed relief pitcher, has a K rate of over 33% right now. I know ideally it's a left-handed pitcher that you're adding if you're the Tigers, but you just need a guy with swing and miss right now because Holton, Hannafy, even Canely, really, at their best, that's not really what they're good at. And let's just face it, they haven't been at their best for the past month or so. David Bednar did win NL Reliever of the Month here in June, and I don't think there's a question of whether or not the Pirates are selling or not at the deadline. It's just a matter of how much they end up selling. ERA under 2 since mid-April. So that'd be the number one thing on my Tigers second half wish list here with a little Christmas in July. So the second thing on the wish list for me, I only have 3 things. I didn't want to be greedy this year. Would be Riley Green. Does not lead the league in strikeouts. Right now, Riley Green has 125 strikeouts on the season. Well on his way to leading Major League Baseball. 4 more than Ryan McMahon over in Tampa. Look, you'll live with the strikeouts if you're a Tigers fan. The 860 OPS, the 24 home runs in the first half. You'll live with it. But something just rubs me the wrong way, that the most likely outcome to every single at-bat for the Tigers' star player is, in fact, a strikeout. Just rubs me the wrong way a little bit. And the last thing on my wish list would be Jack Flaherty finding the fountain of youth. The fastball velocity's down a whole mile per hour from last year. The walk rate's up 3.5 percentage points. The chase rate's down 2 percentage points. The whiff rate is 3 percentage points down. Hard hit balls, 9 percentage points up. It's been not Jack Flaherty's best stuff so far in 2025. On my wish list for the second half of the season, Jack Flaherty finds that fountain of youth and can revert back to 2024 Jack Flaherty that was, in fact, one of the best number 2 pitchers in baseball, specifically in the American League. Now it feels like he's not even the Tigers' number 2. In fact, A.J. Hinch made that pretty clear prior to the All-Star break when he switched to rotation of Casey Mize going right after Tarek Skubal last weekend, which, he kind of made a point of, hey, well, we want to work this around so Tarek can end up starting in the All-Star game, and something about the pitch count and Mize's last thing. Look, you don't have to sugarcoat it, man. We know Casey Mize is the number 2 guy on this team now. Reese Olson, probably your number 3, who we're seeing tonight. Jack Flaherty seems like the 4th guy right now. If he can revert back to that 2024 form and become one of those top second pitchers in the American League, I think the Tigers have a pretty successful second half ahead of them. But they still need relief pitchers, and that's why that was the number 1 need on the wish list. Brad, what comes to mind for your wish list for the 2025 second half Detroit Tigers, who start their second half tonight against the Rangers?
I like David Bednar. I think that's very solid. I think the issue with that is that's going to be a highly competitive place to play, right, for the Tigers at the deadline. The benefit of having still the number 1 farm system in the sport right now is that they can compete in that space better than they have in many other years. They can compete with the Dodgers, the Mets, the Yankees, the Phillies, and whoever else are interested in the Pirates reliever.
They can. It's a matter of, do they want to? Are they willing to give up picks? Because we've seen the Dodgers do it year in, year out. They're willing to give up picks at the deadline. Or not picks, but prospects. At the deadline. We don't know if the Tigers are going to be willing to do it or not.
Let's talk through another David then.
Okay.
David Robertson, who is, I think, 41 years old, not pitching right now, has apparently been throwing for the Yankees and Mets, is a free agent, turned down a $7 million option, took a buyout in the offseason. The Athletic has been reporting that he is interested in coming back. How serious are the Tigers about competing? One thing that you've had a sticking point on for a long time is the lack of spending from Chris Ilitch. Or the lack of desire to spend top prospects right now.
Mm-hmm.
Robertson wouldn't cost you any prospects. He would just cost you money. It would send a message to folks like you and the fan base that if he was interested in playing here, and maybe he isn't, he's played for the Yankees, he's played for the Mets, he's been a big market guy, but he wants to pitch for a contender. Tigers are obviously a contender. They need bullpen arms, as every contender does. But he doesn't cost you any prospects. Can you write him a check for somewhere between, I don't know, $4 to $8 million?
I would
5
sure
to
hope
10
so.
million?
He was on a 1-year contract last year, 11.5. And he hasn't
Correct.
played at all this season. So I wouldn't imagine that costs anywhere north of $5 million, right?
For a half season, correct. He strategically turned down his option so he could basically play this out at the deadline right now. That would be another David that would be interesting and wouldn't cost you prospects. It's just whether or not he's interested in playing in Detroit.
How could you not be right now?
Big markets, never played here. Does he just want to go to New York?
Is the Texas market a bigger market than
Dallas?
Detroit?
Yes.
Okay.
4th biggest in the country.
Oh, okay.
5th biggest in the country.
He played in Tampa. Not all that
That's
big.
correct.
Not all that big of a market. Philly. Like, I don't know. I don't know if the market thing has anything to do with it. It's more so those teams that he played for.
That's
that you
just based
mentioned.
on the reporting. The
I see.
reporting is that he has interest and has been throwing for those teams. But he has a ton of postseason experience.
Right. Playing for all those perennial playoff teams. Yeah, that'd be nice. He's also a self-reps guy. Doesn't have his own agent. So, interesting stuff there. Yeah, that'd be nice. I'm not opposed to, adding another relief pitcher. I think they need to add another relief pitcher, if we're being honest. Ideally more than one, because, Holton, Hannafy, and Canely over the weekend, I mean, they gave up, the bullpen itself gave up 23 runs just in the series against Seattle. That was pretty much the straw that broke the camel's back in terms of, hey, this is a problem. Like, we knew it was a problem, and then it was after that weekend going into the All-Star break. This is an enormous problem. You're going to need to add a couple relief guys here before the deadline on July 31st. So we're 13 days away from that. Where do you stand on getting a starting pitcher into the mix? Because we kind of mentioned Flaherty there. If he can revert back to himself of the 2024 version, I don't think you need to add one, but you really only have 2 starts to determine that. And I'm not willing to roll the dice there in terms of, well, maybe he's back, maybe he's not, based on this one start. I'd like to add another relief pitcher if one comes up, and then you kind of just let them do the Lions thing of, here's competition. 4 of you guys are going to make the playoff rotation. 1 of you's not. Tough luck. Like, figure it out. And I know Alex Cobb's still rehabbing in the minors, but I just don't expect anything from Alex Cobb at this point. I still don't understand that $15 million deal.
Yeah, crazy. A black eye on Scott Harris, frankly, for the last couple of years here. I don't see a starter being a need. If we're going to be an organization, if the Tigers are going to be an organization that somewhat hoard prospects, and maybe they won't, who knows? They could have a Dodgers-like deadline and spend 3 or 4 of their top 10, 5 of their top 15, and make big moves depending on what the market dictates for high-end relievers. I don't think a starter should be a priority. You mentioned Eugenio Suarez, who I think you said Evan Petzold is reported down in Detroit that has mutual interest, or at least he has interest in returning to Detroit. You called him an average infielder?
He's a below-average infielder, yeah. I don't have the numbers pulled up in front of me, but I remember doing a show about it a couple.
What, defensively?
Defensively, yeah. Below-average,
Okay.
outs per average, below-average, WAR.
I think
like,
right now he would have the highest or second highest OPS on the team.
Correct. Yeah, awesome bat.
Okay.
Nothing I said was false. Below-average defender.
I thought you just meant overall below-average infielder.
No.
He's one of the best, infield bats in the league. I would have interest there if he has interest. What is the contract for him?
I think he's and I don't think he's an expiring. Let me look real quick. Because if you're
$15 million this year, and that's all he signed through.
Is that right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Expiring, $15 million. Yeah, you're right. And then he's a UFA.
It's appealing.
It's just the ripple effect of what happens after that. What kind of dominoes fall? Because that's a pretty big shake-up to the starting lineup for a manager who likes to kind of not have everyday guys at certain positions. Really, there's not a position other than second base that you can count on this person to be there every single day. And I guess Parker Meadows at center field too. But the whole Parker Meadows thing is kind of a different conversation right now. But what are the ripple effects of if you do end up trading for Suarez? Right? He's your everyday third baseman. So what does that mean for Vierling? What does that mean for McKinstry? And then if McKinstry's moving to shortstop or one of the corners, what does that mean for Kerry Carpenter? Like, all of a sudden you trade for Suarez, and I don't know if Kerry Carpenter's an everyday player. I mean, not that he was even before and has been this year when a left-handed pitcher's starting for the other team, but Kerry Carpenter suddenly becomes pretty expendable and not one of the core guys on this team if you trade for Suarez, in my opinion.
Suarez, to me, on the offense, if he's acquired, is gravy. I think this offense has proven that they've got enough to get it done. I think
agree.
the starting pitching has proven that they've got enough to get it done.
It's just the bullpen for you.
To me, yes. But that's also stating that, let's compare to the Dodgers again. They are never ones that will hold back from adding a bat at the deadline simply because they don't have room for it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, add the bat. Add the 900 OPS and figure it out later. Because what it's going to cost to get Suarez, say, is, I don't know, 2 top 30s or a top 15 and something beyond that, who cares?
Yeah, here's Hao-Yu Lee, here's Jace Young. Take them.
Who cares?
I agree.
Add the bat. Add gravy. Don't be deficient. And then compete in the market for a David Bednar.
989-837-6125. We asked the people what's on your second half Tigers wish list. Zach says a power arm out of the bullpen, preferably Duran, and a good veteran bat like Suarez. Well, good news on Suarez. Might be coming to Detroit. Bob says bullpen help. It's kind of the obvious answer here. A true closer and a third baseman that can hit. Well, Suarez would check one of those boxes. I don't. What is the consensus on Vest right now? I feel like pretty good about Vest being the true closer. It's just a matter of who's the setup man, because Canely in July has not been that guy whatsoever. But I've seen this more often than not, that Vest isn't a true closer, and I guess I just don't know where that's coming from. He's pretty lights out 85% of the time he steps out there. To hand the Astros the losses they deserve, can't stand them or the Rangers. It's revenge time today. Okay, some hate towards Texas from Camden. Like to see it. And then we've got Nate, who says Paul Skeens. I love it. I won't give up on it. I never will. 989-837-6125. We'll take a trip around the league when we come back. It's the Ben Bosscher Show on 100.9 The Mitt.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
Do we have any spray paint?
Why?
I need lots of paint. I'm going to paint the house.
I don't think so.
But it looks bad.
Well, you can't spray paint the house.
And then let's call Bresky Siding and Building Repair. They can do it.
Is your siding looking faded, worn out, or just in need of an update? Call me, Derek Bresky, at Bresky Siding and Building Repair today for all your siding, roofing, and gutter needs.
At Tommy's Express, you can get your car clean, shiny, and dry in just minutes. Our state-of-the-art eco-friendly wash delivers a spotless finish every time. With the Tommy Club app, enjoy unlimited washes or paper wash. Skip the line with license plate recognition and manage everything right from your phone. Fast, clean, and simple. Visit Tommy's Express today and see the difference. Text Clean Car to 86697 for a free works wash.
Offer valid for new guests only. By participating, you consent to receive promotional information text from Tommy's Express. Message and data rates may apply. Message frequency varies.
Tired of floors that snore? Walls that whisper, meh. Premier Tile in Midland is here to spice things up one tile at a time. They've got backsplash that'll make your pasta jealous.
What?
Shower walls that'll actually sing in the morning. And floors so fabulous, you'll consider eating dinner off them. Stylish, affordable, slightly obsessed with grout. Visit Premier Tile, located between Stark and Sturgeon, right off US 10, or at PremierTileStone.com.
Hey, did you guys catch anything yet?
Not a thing.
Bummer, neither have we. I'm actually just about to head into town. I'm going to go into Higher Standards Automotive. They got this award-winning service department with amazing technicians and this large parts department in case I want to fix it myself. They got the part there.
Whatever.
No, I'm serious, man. It's out there.
Yeah, just like when you tried to convince me Bigfoot was real.
Ray?
Bigfoot's behind me, isn't he?
Yeah, we got it. Run! Get out! Stop into Higher Standards Automotive, North Eastman Road in Midland, right past the mall.
A beautiful yard increases both the value of your home and the quality of your life. Commercially, landscaping creates a positive impression of your professionalism and commitment to community, customers, and employees. Cervinsky Sod has been creating and maintaining outdoor spaces for 56 years. Whether your project is residential or commercial, the team at Cervinsky Sod Services will work with you to build and meet budgets and finish the job with top quality and in a timely manner. To get a quote, call 989-835-4810 or visit CervinskySodService.com.
If you served, we want you to get the health care and benefits you earned. We want you to come to VA.
There's never been a better time to apply.
Under a new law called the PACT Act, we've expanded VA care and benefits to millions of people who served and their survivors.
No matter where you served or how long you served, check out va.gov/PACT to learn more about what VA can do for you and your family. Come to VA.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
(989-837-6125). Welcome back into the Ben Bosscher Show live on 100.9 The Mid. Ben Bosscher with you as always. Brad Tunney behind the glass today.
Yay.
Thanks for that. Look, we've got a lot of stuff going on today. We've mostly been talking Aiden Hutchinson and this Brad Holmes. I think it was a colossal mistake. We did our Detroit Tigers 2025 second half wish list, but now it's time to take a trip around the league.
It's time to zoom out and go around the league.
All right, Brad, what do you got for us today?
Pause for a second.
Okay. Pausing. Pausing.
See here.
Still pause.
Yeah. Hold on.
Waiting.
Oh!
Okay.
All right, here we go. Around the league today, as Ben sent me, is an article on ESPN, produced by ESPN staff.
That I have not read.
AI. That Ben has allegedly not read. Discussing the highest paid NFL players and the most guaranteed money at every position. So what we're going to do is a little quiz here for Ben. You can play along as you listen. As we go position by position, the highest paid players.
I'm ready.
We'll start with kicker.
Oh, man. Starting off with the tough one. I want to
Total
say
guaranteed money and highest 3-year APY.
I want to say it was Justin Tucker, but I no longer think it's Justin Tucker because he's not employed anymore. Is it Younghoe Koo from Atlanta? No, that can't be right. It's not Jake Bates, is it? No, we would know about that. I don't know who the highest paid kicker in the NFL is anymore. Who is it?
That would be Harrison Butker.
Oh, that makes sense. I probably should have known that.
Who signed for $250,000 more than Justin Tucker.
Oh, so it wouldn't have been Tucker anyway. Okay.
Correct.
0 for 1.
Jake Elliott was third.
Throwing the kicker at me first.
That's right. All right, we'll go back to the top now. Quarterback. This is an easy one.
Harrison Butker is always hurt for being the highest paid kicker in the league. I feel like he's been hurt like 3 times the last 2 years.
0 for 1 you are.
Thank you.
Quarterback.
Well, on a per year basis, that would be Joe Burrow.
That's incorrect. This was the easiest one.
$55 million a year. Oh, it's now Josh Allen after this offseason? Well, the highest total guaranteed, I believe, is Patrick Mahomes because he signed the $500 million contract. What are you talking about?
The article you provided.
Joe
the
Burrow
highest APY is Dak Prescott.
Oh, my God.
Prescott.
At what?
I'm drunk listening to myself in these.
At what?
61.6.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I forgot about Dak Prescott. My bad.
Total guaranteed money is Josh Allen at $250 million.
I knew that Allen got the big extension, but I always forget about Dak.
Okay, here really is the easiest one, I guess. Wide receiver.
Jamar Chase.
That's correct. Thank you. Well done.
Justin Jefferson, too.
It just happened. That's correct. CeeDee Lamb 3.
Correct.
All right, how about offensive tackle? Should be easy.
Offensive tackle, or is this split up into left and right tackle?
Offensive tackle.
Okay, I know Sewell and Wirfs are the 2 highest paid. I believe Sewell has edged out Wirfs, but that could be like slightly off. I'm going to go with Sewell, though, as the highest paid guy.
On an annual basis, yes.
Guaranteed as Wirfs?
Guaranteed is worse.
For the Bucks. Okay.
All right. Running back.
Running back. On a per-year basis, that would be Saquon post the contract extension he got this offseason, correct?
That'd be correct.
Total guaranteed. I'm going to also say Saquon Barkley.
Just narrowly beating
Derrick Henry.
Ashton Genty.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I wouldn't have guessed that. I didn't know his guaranteed was that high. I guess that's what happens when you're a top 10 pick.
Genty's guarantee 35.8. Barkley's guarantee 36.
Does it say who's third?
Down. Jonathan Taylor.
Ah. Okay.
All right, you pick the next position.
Let's go with center. I want to go center.
Okay, why would you do that? Go ahead.
Because I think I know the answer. Atlanta gave Lindstrom an enormous contract like 2 off seasons ago. I think he's still the top guy.
Who?
Lindstrom? Is he playing guard for them now? He might be playing guard for them now. Okay, then I don't know center. Is it? It's not Corey Linsley. Definitely not. I don't know.
Chris Lindstrom.
That's who I said.
Is the 10th highest paid guard.
Oh, wow.
In the NFL.
Okay, then who's center? Is it
Creed Humphrey?
Yeah, damn it.
And then Jonah Jackson.
Jonah Jackson is the highest paid guard in the NFL?
No, the second highest paid center.
Oh. Jonah Jackson's playing guard for... Okay. I'm confused on this article now. This is... Jonah Jackson's playing guard for the Bears.
Will he not be playing center for them?
No, I'm pretty sure Jonah Jackson's playing center for the Bears. Or playing guard for the Bears this year.
All right, this should be an easy one. How about cornerback? They both just signed.
Yeah, it's Stingley and Sauce. I'm trying to remember who's higher. Probably Sauce because he just got the contract. Sauce Gardner.
Sauce is the higher average. Stingley is the highest guarantee. In fact, Sauce is not even in the top 5 in guaranteed money.
Really?
That's right. And the easiest one.
You've said that 3 times now.
Edge rusher.
TJ Watt has the highest AAV, and Myles Garrett has the most guaranteed money.
Okay. And then the easiest one. Defensive tackle.
What would make defensive tackle the easiest one?
Because this is your guy.
My guy? It's either Chris Jones or Dexter Lawrence. I don't think Dexter Lawrence has gotten the big-time extension yet, so I'll go with...
it's Chris Jones.
It's Chris Jones.
Your guy.
Dexter Lawrence is going to top that whenever he's due for a contract extension, by the way.
All right. Last one.
We flew through that. Oh, my God.
We didn't do every position. What about the punter?
Is it Jack Fox?
He's second.
Then I don't know. I don't know who the top punter is.
Tress Way is third.
And who does he play for?
Commanders.
Okay. Why'd you say that as a question? Is that a guess?
Somewhat famously didn't punt a single time in the playoff game, right?
Yes. The Lions' defense was decimated.
Michael Dixon of the Seahawks, on a contract that was signed 4 years ago, is still number 1.
For punters.
Correct.
All right. Any long
Last one,
snappers
tight
on
end.
there that you want me to name? Long snappers?
We could do the long snappers. But tight end should
I
be
won't
easy.
know it. The tight end, it's Kittle and Trey McBride is the top 2. I believe Kittle got $500,000 more for AAV and probably got a little more guaranteed money too, but I don't feel as confident about that.
Trey McBride first in both categories.
Was it the 19.5? I knew one of them was 19.5 and one of them was 19. I didn't remember which one was which.
Trey 19.3.
Oh.
Kittle 18.
Oh. Okay. Sam Laporta well on his way to being a 20.
Where does Kirby Joseph rank?
First.
In safeties.
High paid safety in the league.
He ranks third.
Nope. Kirby Joseph's the highest. Okay, what are you asking me based on?
APY or guaranteed money.
Kirby Joseph is the highest paid safety in the NFL. I'm fairly certain of that. Are you leaving? What's going on?
What do you mean, what's going on?
Is he not?
Not what the article says. Not what SpotTrack says.
Total value, Kirby Joseph, $85 million. Antoine Winfield, $84 million. Average per year, $21.2 million. I don't see anybody else in the 20s. $45 million guaranteed. I don't see anybody else in the 40s.
Oh, you know what
I'm missing list are
here?
You looking at?
Pause.
I'm paused.
Pause. The music is also paused.
That's right. We don't need to restart the music. What's going? What are we looking at right now?
This article seems wrong.
This article has seemed wrong multiple times. When did this come out? When did this get published?
You're the one who sent it to me.
I know, but now I'm like, if they're saying Kirby Joseph
3 days ago,
if they're saying Kirby Joseph is the third highest paid safety in the league, I'm looking at over the cap right now, and in all those categories I just named, he's first. What's ESPN?
What SpotTrack says too.
ESPN tripping on. This is why
Bosscher tripping on.
Am I not? What does SpotTrack say? Because I have over the cap up.
Also says Kirby Joseph
is number one. Then I don't know what this ESPN article is. I feel like half the time we do it around the league, it just ends up being like, this article's stupid. That's kind of what happened here. All right, 989-837-6125. Is it World Series or bust for the Detroit Tigers? That is next here on the Ben Bosscher Show. If you are looking to hire, especially if you're looking to hire fast, let Spherion do the heavy lifting. Get you candidates without the hassle. Their simple online hiring platform makes hiring and finding the right employees quicker and easier than ever. Post jobs, review applicants, and connect with top talent all from your phone or computer. Whether you're staffing short-term projects or building your dream team, Spherion has your back. Get back to running your business while Spherion handles the hiring headache. Hiring made simple, smart, and online. That right there is Spherion.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
Hi, I'm Dr. Brandon Scott at Scott Family Dental in Midland. As someone who was born and raised here, I would like to introduce myself by offering my services as your family dental provider. At Scott Family Dental, our mission is to provide excellent and personalized care using the latest technologies and best practices. Our highly trained and personable staff ensure you will feel comfortable along the way.
Dr. Scott is accepting new patients at 2509 West Wackerly Street next to the US 10 on-ramp. Scott Family Dental, let's bring out your best smile together.
For 100 years, Forward Energy has been more than just a home heat and fuel provider. We've been a part of your community, and you've been a part of our family through every storm, every season, and every moment. We've been right here, keeping you warm and safe. As your hometown energy provider, we deliver more than just propane. We deliver peace of mind with reliable service, quality you can count on, and a commitment to always being there when you need us most. Forward Energy, 100 years strong, fueled by family, powered by community.
All fans on deck. It's Pontooners Weekend with the Great Lakes Loons. July 24th through 27th, presented by Sugar Springs Marine. Kick things off with our koozie giveaway and beer run on Thursday, with Yacht Rock on Friday. Saturday brings a bucket hat giveaway and a fireworks loontacular presented by Farm Bureau Insurance. The weekend wraps up with Super Splash Sunday and Meet the Team Day. For tickets, visit loons.com.
Get ready, Michigan. Field of Frames Fest presented by Dow is taking over Dow Diamond September 26th through 28th. It's the ultimate celebration of gaming, esports, and community, bringing together fans, families, players, and industry pros for a 3-day festival like no other. Watch elite teams battle in high-stakes competition, the Valorant Collegiate Invitational and Rocket League Semi-Pro Showdown, each with $10,000 prize pools, a $5,000 Super Smash Bros. Open Tournament, and a 17U Fortnite Youth Tournament with $1,000 up for grabs. There's live music, entertainment, and activities for all ages, plus educational panels and hands-on workshops for those interested in tech, business, and gaming industries. Tickets start at just $25, and kids 10 and under get in free. Don't miss your chance to be part of a landmark event. Visit fieldoframesfest.com to grab your tickets today. Field of Frames. Experience the element of gaming.
Hey, I'm Ben Bosscher.
And I'm Kyle Sandel.
And the two of us are live every weekday on 100.9 The Mitt at 9 a.m. until noon, giving you opinions on the teams that you care about the most.
The Lions, Tigers, Red Wings, Pistons, those teams.
And a whole lot more. Whether we're breaking down a game from the night before, debating the biggest news from the day, or doing a draft or spread picks, we're always having fun. I mean, come on, it's our job to talk about sports. How could we not be having fun?
So if the big games aren't enough for you, if you're a real diehard fan, this show is going to be perfect for you. You can count on us to be your morning sports outlet every day.
The Ben Bosscher Show with Ben Bosscher and Kyle Sandel on 100.9 The Mitt.
We're in your town, your school, your huddle. 100.9 The Mitt is here for sports fans in the Great Lakes Bay region. From the hardwoods of Saginaw to Midland's Friday Night Lights. From the streets of Bay City to Freeland, Frankenmuth, and Hemlock. We roll through Beaverton, Auburn, Pinconning, Essexville, and Shepherd. All the way to Gladwin, Birch Run, Coleman, and Bridgeport. This is your sports station. High school, college, NFL, the Looms. It's all right here. 100.9 The Mitt, Mid-Michigan sports leader.
I'm Ben Bosscher, and here's what I think. I think replay should be taken out of basketball entirely. I think 2 super conferences would fix college football. I think the best football, basketball, and baseball players of all time are currently playing. I think the day the Lions win the Super Bowl is going to be the greatest day of my life. I think Monty Williams sabotaged the Pistons on purpose, and you can't convince me otherwise. I think Jim Harbaugh is one of the best coaches of all time, but most definitely cheated, got caught, and ran away. And I think you should tune into the Ben Bosscher Show, fueled by Forward Energy, weekdays 9 to noon on 100.9 The Mitt if you agree with anything I just said.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
Welcome back in. It's the Ben Bosscher Show. 10 o'clock hour. Let's get to a mid message here. Again, 989-837-6125. An unnamed texter says, hoping that Flaherty returns to form. Looks not great, so adding a starting arm would be solid. I like Skubal, Mize, and Olsen, but aside from the first one, getting into the back half of the season with stress off the pennant race concerns me. I don't think the Tigers are going to run into any pennant race issues here in the second half. They have a big enough lead in the AL Central to where I feel like it's going to be somewhat of a boring last month of the season because they're going to wrap this thing up so early. They'll probably still be fighting for that 1 seed because as great as the first half as they had, it kind of just seems more likely than not that they regress back to the means to some standard. I mean, they didn't lose many series throughout the first half, and I don't know if they can repeat that again. Astros are kind of knocking on the door for best record in the American League. So, yeah, there'll be a race to see who can get that number 1 seed and have home field advantage throughout the course of the playoffs, which obviously the Tigers want. But remember last year there was that weird narrative of you actually don't want a first-round bye. Top 2 teams get first-round byes. And ever since they changed that format, I believe 3 years ago, a lot of those teams have had some trouble in the first round because you take that first week off and then it's against a team who just won a playoff series. I'm not at all suggesting the Tigers should start intentionally losing games so they don't get a first-round bye. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just throwing that out there. First week off doesn't always do a team a ton of favors. So we'll see what happens in the second half. I totally agree that Flaherty has not looked like a solid starting arm for the majority of this season. Certainly not $25 million worth of a starting arm, which leads us to the question, is it World Series or bust for this Detroit Tigers team? It's hard to say it's World Series or bust knowing that basically everyone other than Gleyber Torres is a guarantee to be back next season. You're going to have Skubal for at least another year. Riley's coming back. Torkelson's coming back. Usually you throw Kerry Carpenter right after those guys, but I just don't know how much the Tigers organization values Kerry Carpenter at this point. They refuse to let him hit against any sort of left-handed pitching, so we'll see about that. You got McKinstry coming back. You got Perez coming back. Everyone that's been important, Javi Baez, is going to be back next season. So I don't think it's World Series or bust in terms of, well, if they don't win a World Series this year, it's never going to happen. But it does feel like the pathway has been paved for the Tigers to get to the World Series this year. And similar to the way that the Lions had such a successful regular season in 2024, had the 15-2 record, it does feel like there is some similarities there in terms of they might not get a chance better than this one. Not to say they won't get more chances, but they might not get a chance better than this one here in 2025 when you look around the American League. The Yankees are bound to get better in the offseason. They got worse last offseason, which is a rarity. Astros, obviously, always a perennial playoff team. The Mariners are kind of the team that scares me the most. But you look around the American League and you're the best team. You're the team to beat. That's not a guarantee at any point going forward. So I do think there's an element of this is about Tigers' best chance to win a World Series, especially considering next year it does feel like a World Series or bust season because of the looming Tarek Skubal decision that the Tigers have about 24 months to make. Less, really, when you think about it. So I would say no, not World Series or bust, but I don't know. There is some sort of, well, if they don't win it this year, then they kind of do only have one more chance to win it unless they're able to re-sign Tarek Skubal, which, again, the confidence level right now is a true coin flip. I don't know whether or not the Tigers are going to be able to re-sign Tarek Skubal. I'd sit here and tell you, I don't know how I could be a Tigers fan if they just decide to let him walk. But there's not really a ton of evidence that the Tigers and Chris Ilitch and Scott Harris are willing to spend all that much money. We're yet to see a contract that large. And you know, baseball is really yet to see a contract that large with how much that Tarek Skubal is projected to make. But I wish I could sit here and tell you I had the confidence in the organization to get Skubal as a Tiger for life, but I just don't. So I would say the next 2 years are World Series or bust for the Detroit Tigers, not necessarily 2025 season in a vacuum. But again, there's a sense of you're not going to get a ton of opportunities. It's baseball. It's random. You got to go capitalize, which is why I'm down to trade anyone in the farm system. I know people say it's a little egregious to try to trade Clark and McGonigal and all these guys, and they're not going to trade both of them. They're probably not going to trade one of them. But I wouldn't care if they did if it means you land talented players because you don't get a ton of these chances. And right now the Tigers have been presented with a great chance to have that 1 seed and walk to a World Series and run into whatever world beater comes out of the NL.
I think I'm working under a pretense that Skubal is here long term. I guess I don't really want to live in a world where you're not assuming that. Yeah, I know. Good for me, right? Optimist. And in that scenario, I don't understand how there's even a bust conversation possible. They were in the gutter for so long to build this farm system for as long as they have, whether it had been Scott Harris draft picks and development or even Al Avila.
What did you just call him?
Al Avila.
Is that because of the echo in your ear?
Yeah. Kyle texts me. He goes, dude, man, this is, now you get it. Anyway, they have developed the farm and developed the Major League roster in a way that this is a sustained successor.
You got it.
In my mind. Yeah, I've got it. I feel like you almost need to drink to do this, to like reverse what it feels like.
We've got the champagne in here, the unopened champagne that never got cracked, if you want me to bring that over.
5 sure flat by now.
It was never opened. Wait, you're telling me the champagne that I got bought when I graduated from college that has been sitting on top of my refrigerator for over a year now is probably not good anymore?
No, it's probably fine, man.
Oh, thank God. Been waiting to crack that open.
What are you saving a $6 bottle of champagne for?
Whoa. I didn't buy that for myself. If I would have bought it for myself, it might have been $6. That was a gift from a family member. I don't know how much it was. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I've been waiting. Anyway. You know, if Pistons would have won the lottery, maybe would have done it. Lions would have won a few more playoff games, maybe would have cracked it open. The best was when I bought cigars for the Wemby draft lottery. Those just sat on my counter for 2+ years. I don't think I ever actually opened those.
Sure. Yeah, I guess I don't really understand the bust conversation in that I think there are many years to look at this. I mean, we looked at the last phase or the last opportunity for the Tigers to win a World Series, and it was damn near a decade. And if this is year 2 to 3 of that phase, it feels like there's another 5 years. It feels like there could be more because of what the farm looks like. But Riley Green's going to be here 15 years, right?
That's certainly the goal. I mean, I have a lot more confidence in
Derek
Riley
Skubal's
Green's
going to be here another 10 years, right?
That's the wish, Brad, but I don't think we can just sit here and assume that. I wish I could tell everyone that, but I'd be lying if I said I can say with confidence Derek Skubal is going to be a Tiger. I would say it's like 60% yes, 40% no, but I can't
Casey Mize is a Tiger for 10 more years?
Sure.
Reese Olson is a Tiger
sure, but
for
if
10
you
more
lose
years?
Skubal, then this is a completely different conversation.
Is it?
Yeah. When you lose the best pitcher in baseball, yeah, it's a little bit changes things. Like the Tigers wouldn't. I mean, I don't even have to say this. They wouldn't be as good of a team if they lost Derek Skubal to the point where you don't have an automatic win every 4 days, every 5 days. I wouldn't be feeling. They'd still be one of the better teams in the American League. Let's take it right now. If you remove Derek Skubal from this team, are they the best team in the American League?
I think there's still a chance that they have the best record in the American League, yes.
Would you be picking them to win playoff series, though?
I don't know. But who's to say that one of Mize, Olson, Job / letting Skubal walk and just finding a replacement ace at a smaller price doesn't still make you a contender for 5+ years? The idea of like relitigating the Skubal stuff and then, like at the end of the day, he starts once every 5 days. And in the postseason,
yeah, I know,
once
but you
every
can't
4
just
games.
replace an ace like that. Like you can find someone who you can call a different ace, but I mean, come on, you've had a Cy Young candidate, Cy Young winner on your team for the past 2 seasons. Like
What's the
you
difference
can't just
in
replace
WAR?
that guy.
What's the difference in WAR right now between Skubal and Mize?
Do you have that pulled up? Are you asking me, or is this
I do.
rhetorical?
Yeah, I do have it.
I don't know. Tell me.
It's 3 wins.
That's a lot.
It is, but you also lead the AL by 3 games. It's not transferable. Like, it's somewhat apples and oranges, but it does also just kind of show, and this is not to justify not trying to throw money at Skubal or whatever else. But there's certainly a path forward without Skubal on the team. I think he'll be here 10 more years.
I would really hope so. I think the better he plays, the more likely it is that he's back.
Yeah, the text that we got in to start the segment too about like Flaherty needing to be the replacement. We talked about like our second half desires for this team, Christmas in July of sorts. The problem for me is spending assets on a position that you're already competitive in. If Flaherty's your number 3 or 4 starter, and you compare that to the other 3 or 4 starters of AL contenders, Jays, Yankees, Mariners, Astros, like Flaherty is just as good, if not better, than every other number 4 starter on those teams. Why spend assets to improve a spot that's already better than the competition?
Flaherty at his best is better than all those guys, but at his worst is worse than all those guys too. Like Flaherty just has
average
huge
pitchers.
waves of like any given start for Flaherty, you have no idea what you're getting. That's the scary part. And I look at his contract right now, $25 million this year, $10 million next year with a player option. I don't imagine he's opting out of that, seeking more money than that, right? Is there a team out there? That's a good way to think about this. If the season ended right now, would Flaherty opt out of this contract and another team give him more than $10 million? I don't think so. I think he's opting back in. I think that's the best he's got.
Sure. $10 million doesn't really hurt you for a starter that's going to give you all year, though.
No, yeah, you're right. But just to put that into perspective of, hey, is Flaherty still like this impact guy? It's like, I don't think anybody's giving him more than $10 million, which means I think he's going to be back next season. And I would take him for $10 million. If Flaherty was making $10 million this season, okay, then I'm like not complaining about him as much. But they brought him back with the intention of being the number 2 guy. He's not the number 2 guy. He's been a disappointment.
That's fine.
That's why it's
fine,
been a conversation.
You have a number 2 and a number 3, though. Like, you went to a postseason with Mize and Olson, you're already better than every other staff in the AL. And if Flaherty is your competition in a Game 4 against the Yankees, let's call it their number 4 is Will Warren. Like, Will Warren also has multiple starts this year of 7, 8 earned runs. Just like Flaherty. So, just to get back to that point from the start of the segment of, like, spending assets on that, no. Let's pile assets for the bullpen.
which needs a complete reset. If Canley's going to pitch the way he has in July, they need a handful of new arms. We already don't trust Hannafy. Holton, same thing. They both showed a little sliver of hope for a couple starts at the beginning of July, and then got back to normal. Pretty ugly, pretty fast. 989-837-6125. Got a couple messages to get to when we come back. It is the Ben Bosscher Show on 100.9 The Met.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
It's time to remember that. You remember. With Kyle Sandel.
Presented by Matt Larson, Farm Bureau agent, located downtown Midland. Well, the Pittsburgh Steelers continue to be the most aggressive team of this year's NFL offseason. Obviously going out and signing Aaron Rodgers, they traded for and then paid DK Metcalf. The really big trade that had a lot of question marks that included them acquiring Jalen Ramsey and Jonnu Smith, trading away Minkah Fitzpatrick. But their most important piece this offseason was bringing back TJ Watt, who was threatening to potentially hold out without a new contract. You knew all along the Steelers were going to pay TJ Watt. They really have no other choice to. He's been their franchise player for the last decade. It was more so a matter of when, and they do so before the Lions are able to pay Aiden Hutchinson his new contract. Now, look, whether or not this was planned by Brad Holmes and company or not, based on the Hutchinson injury, want to wait for him to come back healthy and see how he looks, or if they really did want to see what the market value of Watt and or Micah Parsons was, this is still an L for the Lions in a way, right? Because now Aiden Hutchinson's agency can look at this deal of TJ Watt and say, well, Hutchinson is nearing that TJ Watt level and years younger. Look at the production he had last year prior to that injury. He deserves that same type of money. Holmes has beat the rest of the market the last several years with the Amon-Ra St. Brown, Penei Sewell contracts. He's gotten creative with the contracts as well, so I'm not saying this is an L move from Brad Holmes, but this is the first time we've really seen him in this situation with one of his star players. Remember that. Presented by Matt Larson, Farm Bureau agent, located downtown Midland.
Isaiah, let's play some word association.
I'm ready.
Spring.
Wheat pears.
Wind.
Woofing.
Rain.
Gutters.
Leak.
Buckley Satinberry Repair.
Who do you call?
Ghostbusters.
No, son. Who do you call?
Buckley Satinberry Repair.
That's right. Don't wait until spring. Call me, Derek Bresky, at Bresky Siding and Building Repair today for all your roofing and gutter needs.
Are you new to investing and not sure where to begin? Start by looking for a financial advisor who will offer you a strategy personalized for you and your family. One who will be there as your life and financial situation changes. I'm Kevin Spencer, your Midland Edward Jones financial advisor. When we work together, we'll focus on what's important to you. We use an established process to create personalized financial strategies backed by the advice, tools, and resources to help you reach your goals. And we'll partner to help your strategy stay on track.
Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Something happens when we can't be our true selves. You can hear it in our laughs. There's the half-hearted chuckle. The courtesy conference caller.
Yeah, great.
And of course, the I'm only laughing because I'm dating your daughter.
Oh, that's so true.
If you want to laugh for real, try having some Miller Lite with some friends. It works. It's Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. 2021 Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin beer.
The Ben Bosscher Show is brand new, and to celebrate, we want to make sure one listener is a big winner every Wednesday.
That's what this is all about. It always has been about.
Every Wednesday this summer at 10:15 a.m., we're going to be giving away tickets to the hottest team in baseball, the Detroit Tigers. This is your chance to head to Comerica Park on us, and thanks to our friends over at Garber Chevrolet Midland. Again, Detroit Tigers tickets every Wednesday at 10:15 a.m. on the Ben Bosscher Show on 100.9 The Mid.
You want sports takes? You want local voices that own the mic?
Yeah.
We've got them on Sports Radio 100.9 The Mid. It kicks off at 6 a.m. with Anthony Bellino on Spin on Sports.
Rise and shine.
From 9 to noon, don't miss Michigan's newest sports show, The Ben Bosscher Show.
Hey, remember that.
At noon, you get America's smartest sports takes, The Herd with Colin Cowherd.
I want Shador to play.
And at 3, the one and only Bill Simonson and The Huge Show. This is where real fans stay locked in. 100.9 The Mid. From Midland to Bay City, Saginaw to Sanford, From Frankenmuth, Freeland, and Hemlock to Auburn, Essexville, and Pinconning, 100.9 The Mid is the heartbeat of the Great Lakes Bay region, and proud of it. We're your home for local sports, local stories, and local pride. Whether you're in Birch Run, Beaverton, Gladwin, Chesaning, or Coleman, football, basketball, hockey, Spartans, NFL, Loons, all right here. 100.9 The Mid, Mid-Michigan's sports leader.
Can you go anywhere and find an endeavor in society where we've come to accept and tolerate an adult, and even kids, treating another adult the way we allow spectators, coaches, and players to treat a high school game official? Can you? No one has the right to abuse game officials. So before you blurt something out about that next close call, consider this. Without the officials, nobody wins. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletiks.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
989-837-6125. Welcome back in to the Ben Bosscher Show live on 100.9 The Mid. Let's get to a couple of Mid messages here. This one is from unnamed number. I need to see Olsen and Mize in postseason competition before I start feeling confident about them. It's easier to pitch in May than it will be to pitch in October.
It's a good point.
Is it that it's harder to pitch in October, or is that you're just playing better competition in October? Like we saw that, actually I don't want to compare it to the Lions. I keep doing that. But yeah, it's more so that you're just playing the better teams in October. And I know we've seen Mize get even Mize this past weekend.
The moment is bigger.
The moment's bigger. That's, yeah, for sure. But Mize isn't like a huge swing and miss guy anyway, so like that kind of makes you nervous going into a postseason against a team with a ton of good bats. And we saw it this weekend against the team with a ton of good at-bats in Cal Raleigh, Rosarena, J.P. Crawford, and Julio Rodriguez. Like, this team lit Mize up, the Seattle team. Mize and Skubal gave up 10 runs combined. And, we've seen it from Skubal. We know he can deal in the playoffs. I'm not worried about Skubal. But, yeah, with Olsen and Mize, two guys that didn't really get any playoff experience last year. Mize wasn't even on the roster, and I believe Olsen was hurt. So, yeah, still a lot to prove with those two guys heading into the postseason. Ryan from Pinconning says, I'm tired of national media saying Lions won't win the division. The schedule is tough, but the rest of the division plays a similar schedule. The Lions are more built for the gauntlet than the rest of the North. Neither of us are saying the Lions won't win the division.
He said national media.
Look, it'd be naive to say that there's not going to be multiple teams in the NFC North threatening to at least take the division. The schedule's brutal. I still am picking the Lions to win the division, but I don't think it's the worst. Like, it's not like the sky is falling if they don't end up winning the division. As long as they get to the postseason healthy, that's really all I care about this year. But at the same time, it would be pretty nice to three-peat in this division. What I can't stand, like what I think is equally as annoying, Ryan, is when I say, who's the biggest threat to the Lions in the NFC North? And people reply with nobody. Like, okay, that's an unrealistic answer. You have to give some sort of respect to, maybe not respect is the right word, but you have to nod the cap or tip the hat to the other teams in the NFC North, because all of them have had pretty good off seasons. Minnesota has rebuilt their offensive line. We saw how problematic that was in the game. Week 18 with Sam Darnold back there. I like J.J. McCarthy. I know he's not for everybody, but can he be Brock Purdy? He's got the offensive play caller. He's got the offensive line now. He's got the best wide receiver in football and one of the better tight ends in football. I think he can be Brock Purdy. He's coachable. We saw that at Michigan. I like the Vikings, man. I think they're going to be as good of a team as they were last year. Maybe not the win total, but you can say the same thing about the Lions because the schedule's just so brutal. All right, the 11 o'clock hour is coming up. Here's what we've got. Aiden Hutchinson doesn't get paid by Brad Holmes. How big of a mistake was this? And, of course, we're going to get to our mid-morning update. We've got our two traditions to close out every show. It is our lock of the day. Hey, yesterday we didn't lose. Still TBD. We'll keep that going here. When we come back, it's the 11 o'clock hour on the way on the Ben Bosscher Show on 100.9 The Mid.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
Looking for the perfect golf getaway? Tee up at Sandy Ridge Golf Course, Midland's hidden gem. Whether you're a scratch golfer or just out for fun, Sandy Ridge offers a beautifully maintained 18-hole course, friendly staff, and unbeatable rates, plus a brand new clubhouse. Book your tee time today at sandyridgegolfcourse.com or call 989-631-6010. Sandy Ridge Golf Course, where great golf meets pure Michigan beauty.
I'm here with Matt Smith with Modern Realty. All right, Matt, forecast 2025 for us.
Well, in 2025, I believe you're going to see a much more balanced market. We've been in a seller's market for a number of years. We're still not busting at the seams with inventory, but we are seeing the market start to balance out a little bit. That means it's still a really good time to get great value out of your home. But for the buyers out there, it also means that your path to home ownership should be a little bit easier.
For 100 years, Forward Energy has been more than just a home heat and fuel provider. We've been a part of your community, and you've been a part of our family through every storm, every season, and every moment. We've been right here, keeping you warm and safe. As your hometown energy provider, we deliver more than just propane. We deliver peace of mind with reliable service, quality you can count on, and a commitment to always being there when you need us most. Forward Energy, 100 years strong, fueled by family, powered by community.
At Aird Insurance Group, they're more than just policies. They're your trusted partners in protecting what matters most.
Whether it's auto, home, life, or business insurance, their team takes the time to understand your needs and find the best coverage for your unique situation.
With personalized service and unbeatable rates, Aird Insurance Group makes protecting your future easy.
Call Aird Insurance Group today and see why their clients trust them to keep them covered.
Aird Insurance Group.
The experience matters.
You have better things to do than to job hunt or scramble to find your next great hire. So let Spherion do it. We say local is our superpower because we live and work where you live and work. We know the local job market. We're here in person. And we're locally owned, so you won't find a partner who's more engaged and literally invested in your success. If you're ready for something better, start with Spherion. Visit us online at Spherion.com to find your local Spherion office. Let's get to work.
All fans on deck. It's Pontooners Weekend with the Great Lakes Loons. July 24th through 27th, presented by Sugar Springs Marine. Kick things off with our koozie giveaway and beer run on Thursday. With Yacht Rock on Friday. Saturday brings a bucket hat giveaway and a fireworks loontacular presented by Farm Bureau Insurance. The weekend wraps up with Super Splash Sunday and Meet the Team Day. For tickets, visit loons.com. From the Blazy Electric Studios, this is Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt. WLUN, Pinconning Bay City, Saginaw, Midland.
It's the Ben Bosscher Show live on 100.9 The Mint, live on YouTube and Facebook as well. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit the like button as well. It helps get that video out for more people across the great state of Michigan.
Yeah.
Just want some sports content, you know? Kyle said in the chat, who's down in Dayton right now, he said, Sarah's take of the week with Brad producing would have been generational. Sarah not in the office today. Unfortunate. That would have been pretty fun, though. Would have been. Okay, the Lions decide to not pay Aiden Hutchinson early like they did with Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jared Goff, and Penei Sewell. Those three guys last year in April got their big-time extensions, and now we're in July the following year, and, well, Aiden Hutchinson hasn't been paid. And ironically, it was March where all the different edge rushers got their new giant deals. Hey, the season ended in January. You could have extended Hutchinson right then and there and made him the highest paid edge in the league, and boom, it's done with. You don't have to think about it anymore. Then all these guys like Crosby, Danielle Hunter, Myles Garrett, TJ Watt yesterday, all these guys end up making way more than him. Well, they don't end up paying him. And unlike what they did with Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jared Goff and Penei Sewell, suddenly you're going to pay the consequences of this. Because you look at what the Amon-Ra St. Brown contract looks like now, and it's a steal. It's one of the best contracts in the league. They made him the highest paid receiver. That looked like not a mistake, but it was like, whoa, seems like an overpay. Then Jefferson got paid. Then Chase got paid. Then A.J. Brown got paid. DK Metcalf, Garrett Wilson, even making more than Amon-Ra St. Brown. at this point. So that contract looks like a steal at this point. Could have done something similar with Aiden Hutchinson, but that's not how this thing played out. March 5th, Crosby gets $35 million a year. March 19th, Daniil Hunter gets $35 million a year. March 9th, Myles Garrett, after requesting a trade and saying he's never going to play for the Browns again, gets $40 million a season. And then yesterday, TJ Watt gets $41 million a year. I have a fundamentally hard time believing anyone who says, well, Aiden Hutchinson probably is just declining all these contracts that they're throwing at him. If you're giving him enough money to be the highest paid player at his position across the NFL, I just doubt anyone says no to that, regardless of what the market looks like. Now, again, heading into this offseason, Nick Bosa was the highest paid guy at that position at $34 million. And you could have been like, hey, Hutch, you want 38? We're going to blow this thing out of the water. And I bet you he would have accepted that. And now you're looking at it like, okay, Hunter, Crosby both making 35, Garrett making 40, TJ Watt making 41. Like, Aiden Hutchinson probably is going to be asking for north of $40 million, which is obviously a huge upgrade over what it could have been. And, okay, maybe it's only a $6 million difference a year. Well, $6 million is like an Amik Robertson. That's a pretty good free agent acquisition every offseason. And when the Lions are already going to be up against it in terms of the budget in 2026, 2027, 2028, because of all the extensions that they've already had, that $6 million difference per season is the difference in getting an impact player and not getting an impact player. And suddenly, like, again, the Lions could just kick this thing down the road. He's under contract this year and next year, and they could just wait to extend Hutchinson. But then what happens, right? Then all of a sudden you're talking about, hey, the cap went up once again, talking about a $45 million player potentially. So I think this is Brad Holmes' biggest mistake as the GM of the Lions so far. It's overtaken the Giovanni Manu trade up into the third round, or trade up into the fourth round, give up a third round pick to do it. Still ridiculous. It's surpassed that as to this is going to hurt the Lions in the long run. Maybe not this season, but I think you just set a precedent so early on with the St. Brown extension and the Goff extension and the Sewell extension. It's like this was kind of the expectation. You were going to get this done early and save yourself a ton of money. Well, you weren't able to get it done, and now it's costing you money. So luckily, they got it done with a few contracts that now look good, and maybe that's part of the reason that this isn't a total disaster. But I don't know, Brad. This to me is still Brad Holmes' gargantuan mistake as the Lions GM.
Yeah, the way you make it seem is that you think Brad Holmes and the Lions hold the cards in these negotiations. Would you say that's correct?
I think it's maybe the way I'm making it seem is a little bit more like the Lions hold more of the cards, and obviously it takes two to tango. But I still think that if you're a GM and you put a contract in front of someone's face to make them the highest paid player in the league, they just sign it. They just do. I have a hard time fundamentally believing that anyone says no to that contract. And to me, Brad Holmes, again, this is all speculation, but just kind of reading between the lines, feels like the Lions and Brad Holmes kind of said, let's actually tango on this rather than, jumping the gun like you did with St. Brown. That's all I'm saying.
What is more likely a scenario if there was an approach made by Brad Holmes in March when some of these other deals were getting signed when the offseason hit? Is it more likely that Brad lowballed Hutch and his representatives? Or is it more likely that an offer like you're stating was made, say $5 million more
Give me
than
a
the
number.
previous record of Max Crosby, say $38.39 annual value? Or is it more likely that Hutch and his representatives at that point said, no, we're going to wait, and basically no discussions have been had since? What is more likely? Because your answer kind of determines who has the cards here. In my mind, if I'm Hutch and his representatives, I'm just waiting as long as possible. Because every month he has waited has essentially made him an additional $1 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
From March to now, every single month has made him an additional $1 million. If not $1.5 million.
Right. Highest paid edge went from 34 to 41 this offseason. I think the more likely thing that happened, though, is they offered him something that they didn't necessarily think represented Hutchinson. Like, it's not like they haven't had any sort of discussions on this contract. Holmes has been open about it. They've been in the negotiating process, and he said it's taken two to tango. I think they tried to get this done, and I don't want to say they lowballed them because that looks like a bad spot on the Lions, but they didn't wow them. That's for sure. Remember what all our reactions were to Amon-Ra St. Brown becoming the highest paid receiver in the NFL? It was like, what? Like the highest? I don't think he's the best receiver in the league, but then it corrects itself. The same way, because that offseason, Jefferson got paid, and the whole goal was beat Jefferson at the market. If you were St. Brown's representation, what's different than saying, let's just wait this thing out and see what Jefferson makes, and even if we don't make as much as Jefferson, we can get a little bit below that. Like, I guess I don't see how these scenarios are any different.
But same goes for Jefferson. Like, reps for Justin Jefferson state he's the better receiver to Amon-Ra St. Brown. I don't know if that's in question, right?
Yes, but Hutchinson's guys aren't doing that with Garrett, are they?
What do you mean?
Like,
why wouldn't Hutch's reps say in March, we know he's the best edge in football. We know he's the most valuable. We don't really have anything to lose by waiting since this extension doesn't kick in until 2 more years. TJ Watt has to sign. He's 30. He's going into the final year. We know we can wait. So let's wait. And every month we do, we tack millions onto the contract. And unless Brad Holmes came to him in March and said it's going to be 42 a year, anything less than that, Hutch says no to. Because it's easy to start tacking on every single edge rusher and go, all right, Max signed for this. And then we know Daniil's going to sign. And we know TJ Watt's going to sign. And we know Myles Garrett's going to sign. And we know Micah Parsons is going to sign. And if we just wait all those out and sign a deal in September, it's $45 million. So either give us the 43 now, we'll give you a small discount, but we don't want to hear your 37, 38, 39 because there's no reason for us to sign. To me, it feels like Hutch has more leverage. And I don't see Brad Holmes and the Lions in March or 3 months ago before the Garrett deal stating here's $45 million.
Do you think that the Hutchinson camp recognized what happened with the St. Brown contract and kind of learned from it and said,
yeah, but that's not the first one, right? Like it happens every year with quarterbacks. It happens in every single category. Unless Hutch had some, like there's multiple egos at play here, right? I think every player wants to be the highest paid player at their position. And in particular, edge rushers have a chance for the big PR moment of the highest paid non-quarterback, which is what TJ just got. The other small piece of ego here that could have come in play was the first 2022 draft pick to sign his extension. And there have been 3 since, right? At least first rounders.
I don't know who they are off the top of my head.
Sauce,
if that's what you're asking.
Singletary. Who else? Is there a third there?
You mean Stingley?
Or sorry, Stingley. Yes.
I think that's
and
probably
Garrett
it.
Wilson.
Oh yeah, Garrett. Yeah.
Those 3. If he can't be the first there, then make me the highest paid non-quarterback. To your point, he was on pace for one of the best edge seasons ever last year.
Mm-hmm.
Do I think he deserves to be the highest paid edge? I don't think so.
But when you consider the age, where he was drafted, what you hope he can be, there's a case he should be.
But off a broken leg, never an all-pro, never more than a dozen sacks in a season. Granted, 3 years, one of them was a rookie year, one of them was a 5-game year.
He had 8 through 5 games.
Correct. I get it. Never an all-pro. Like, TJ Watt's a 5-time all-pro. Defensive player of the year. Myles Garrett the same way. Those guys are guaranteed a sack a game. And the sample size for a guy off a broken leg is 5 games of that. So in March, if the Hutch camp says we need $45 million because that's what we know we'll demand 6 months from now, I guess I don't blame Brad Holmes for stating, why do I have to give you $10 million more than anyone has ever made? And then they sit at a stalemate.
Could actually end up making $12 million more. Right? If you end up waiting until next year, God knows what he's going to end up making.
I guess. Who else is on the docket, though, after Parsons?
Will Anderson.
Like, we're not afraid of Trey Hendrickson, right?
No, it's Will Anderson and Micah. You have to beat Micah Parsons. You cannot let the Cowboys get this done before you.
But then again, if this goes, like in a hypothetical scenario where the NFL had arbitration the way baseball does, and you had to actually position against a third party, this is what we deserve based on what others have been paid. Like, is Aiden, pound for pound, off a broken leg, worth more than Micah Parsons?
I think both parties have a pretty good case. I think every Cowboys fan would say Micah Parsons is the better player, and I think he's a little bit more versatile of a player. You can use him in a lot of different ways. Pretty transcendent guy to come into the league and like kind of invented a new position. That has a ton of value of its own. But in terms of just pure get after the quarterback, it's probably Hutchinson.
If they signed on the same day, who would deserve more money?
I think it's Micah Parsons.
But if they don't sign on the same day, we know how this works. Right. Guys get more money as days goes on. I feel like there is some leverage left for the Lions to prevent him from being the highest paid non-quarterback. That's all. And maybe there isn't. Maybe I'm being naive. But if Parsons signs for $43 a year, say, I don't think the Lions have to beat that.
But you think they have to beat the TJ Watt deal just because of the age?
I don't know. Like, if it was simply based on production and the scare of coming off a broken leg, he should probably get somewhere between Danielle Hunter and Myles Garrett, to be honest.
That's a pretty wide gap, but yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's a $5 million difference.
Yeah, so split the difference. High 30s.
I think the comparison has always been Crosby, and Crosby got the 35, right? And obviously a little bit younger than Crosby. I think the fair assessment, like the arbitration, would have been $37 million. And then Myles Garrett, TJ Watt, the guys who get the Defense Player of the Years, end up getting more. Mike Parsons, a little bit more versatile, has stayed on the field, ends up getting a little more. But that's, like you said, it's not how it works. So you
the
have
opposite
to somehow
leverage to this.
Get
the opposite leverage to this is, all right,
Micah,
let us go to the offseason next year.
I don't like that.
No, that'd be terrible. What if we're talking 50 M's then?
Yeah. So Lord knows how much the salary cap is going up from now until
and
then.
guys don't get to free agency like that after rookie extensions for guys that are this good in the NFL.
No. 989-837-6125. Was it a colossal mistake for the Lions to not extend Aiden Hutchinson? I think it's Brad Holmes' biggest mistake to date as GM. Gargantuan. 989-837-6125. We've got that and a whole lot more coming up next on the Ben Bosscher Show on 100.9 The Mitt.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
The Great Lakes Loons are coming off 9 consecutive games at home, a homestand against the Whitecaps and the Lugnuts. Took 2 of 3 from West Michigan 2 weeks ago. Lansing took 4 of 6 from the Loons this past week, but still some great offensive performances, including Cameron Decker, who had 5 hits on the week, including 2 homers, 1 on Tuesday and 1 on Sunday. The lone Loons run on Sunday afternoon.
35-19.
Oh, as Decker swings, puts it in the air to deep left. Does he have another this week? Oh, yeah! Decker dinger in the 9th. Loons on the board, avoid getting shut out. It's the All-Star break, so the Loons won't be in action until Friday. They're out in Dayton, Ohio to take on the Dragons. First pitch, 7:05 on the Mitt. It's the Scholar Athlete of the Month, proudly presented by Fisher Companies here on Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt. This month's recipient is Scarlett Mason from Standish Sterling High School. With a 4.3 GPA, Scarlett's a member of the track and field team and a state champion in swimming. Scarlett, a member of the National Honor Society, and PALS, a student support group.
We get qualified, and then we are someone that if a student is uncomfortable talking to an adult, they can come talk to us about what's going on at home or whatever they're struggling with. The biggest thing was it raised mental health awareness, and I think that's huge in high school.
Scarlett will be attending and swimming at Wayne State in the fall. To hear the full interview and nominate a local athlete for our scholarship program, visit 1009themit.com.
Near, on the wall, whose house is the nicest on the block of them all?
Not yours.
What do you mean?
Your siding is faded, your gutters are falling off, and you have shingles missing. I suggest you call Bresky Siding and Building Repair.
I'm going to call Bresky Siding and Building Repair right now. Near, on the wall, now whose house is the nicest of them all?
Yours is, kind sir, yours is.
Call me, Derek Bresky, at Bresky Siding and Building Repair today.
At First Class Epoxy Floor and Counter, floors don't just get coated, they get a makeover. Epoxy's so tough, it shrugs off spills, stains, and even your wildest dance moves. Garages, workshops, anywhere you want a floor that's smooth, shiny, and just a little bit sassy, they handle it all with style. No more boring floors. Get ready to impress everyone who walks through the door. Slide into durability and flair. First Class Epoxy Floor and Counter, where your floors get the VIP treatment they didn't know they needed.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
(989-837-6125). Do you believe?
What you snacking on?
Nothing anymore. Had a little
it?
bit of a beef stick over here.
All right.
Those ones Sarah brought in. They're good. Now they're gone. Took the last one. Do you feel more guilty about being the first one to like take a slice of the pizza, or being more guilty about taking the last slice? Or I guess fill in the blank of what food. Do you feel more bad about being the first one to open up the box, or taking the last one?
You know someone in our office that feels no guilt being either? Guilt being either?
Me?
Nope.
Vicari?
No.
Who? I don't know. Austin Johnson?
There you go.
Why'd you randomly bring that up?
I don't know. He just came to mind. Someone that would feel no guilt in that space.
I feel a little bit guilty opening up the box. I feel like I'm more self-conscious about that than I am guilty about taking the last slice. If there's one more slice of pizza left and I see it, I'm probably taking it.
I am not one to do either.
Oh, you're just above and beyond.
I'm only taking the middle slices.
Really? You'll never be the first one and last one to eat?
I don't think so.
So kind of you. 989-837-6125. A couple mid-messages to get to. Corrine says, yes, but I'm not surprised. Brad Holmes can be very cheap. I love him, but he's cheap. Huh. I don't know if I can agree with that. He hasn't shown that he's cheap. He's shown that he's smart with some of these contracts, but I don't think cheap is the right word. It's not
also
like
not his money.
That's correct.
And in the
it's
salary cap sport.
Yeah. Yes, should have extended him before other big-name pass rushers set the market. Watt is getting 41. Going to force the Lions to pay Hutch a lot more. Could be right. Probably are right. Probably are. 989-837-6125. We'll get some more of those a little bit later on in the show. But right now, am I boring you over there? Was that a yawn?
It was a little bit of a yawn, yeah.
You left your mic open. I heard that. Thanks, man. Look, the good news that we got yesterday, it wasn't all bad news for the Detroit Lions fans. The good news is that Tate Ratledge is officially signed. There was 30 going into yesterday morning, 30 second-round picks that had remained unsigned because the first two kind of set a new precedent across the league that second-round picks want a lot of their guaranteed money. Yesterday, 4 second-round picks end up signing, Tate Ratledge being the last of them. Another one ends up signing today. So, yeah, there's a lot more guaranteed money now in the second-round picks thanks to the Texans and the Browns for kind of setting a new precedent there. So that's the good news. Tate Ratledge is going to be at camp. Obviously important to get that guy as many reps as possible, including a little bit of preseason before week 1 rolls around because he's probably just starting it center for the Lions and filling some pretty big shoes left behind by Frank Ragnow. That's the good news. Hutchinson was the bad news. The undetermined news is tomorrow when veterans have to show up to training camp. Again, a lot of veterans are already there, but they have until Saturday to actually report to camp. The question that remains unanswered is whether or not Alex Anzalone's going to show up. He has not publicly stated he's going to hold out or anything like that, the same way a TJ Watt kind of made it very clear. He was not showing up to camp without a new contract. There hasn't been any of that, but there has been some comments of, hey, I'd like a new contract. I already got extended once, but that was kind of the mini extension, the 2 years when he already had a year left on it, so it wasn't a full extension. Now Alex Anzalone's kind of running into the situation of 1 year left on the deal. He's only making $6 million this season, only made $6 million last year, one of the more underpaid players across the league. I wouldn't show up to camp if I was him because I look around like, hey, look at this. Derek Barnes got paid. Aleem McNeil got paid. Kirby Joseph got paid. Even looking at the other side of the ball, Taylor Decker got paid. Still don't love that one. Why would I not get paid? I've been here the whole time. I've been here since Dan Campbell took over. I came along with him from New Orleans. I want my money. I deserve it. I've kind of been the glue piece that held this defense together even when there was a ton of injuries last season. But when I got hurt, the defense survived when Hutch got hurt. When I got hurt, we were one of the 5 worst defenses in the NFL. 28th in EPA per play, 21st in DVOA. They were a disaster without Alex Anzalone out there. So if I'm him, I'm looking around like, I want my new contract, especially considering everyone else got one. Why do I get the short end of the stick? What's different about me? Why am I not important? Brad Holmes. And I think for the first time, Brad Holmes might have to deal with this because obviously this isn't something the Lions have had to deal with since he took over. But now that everyone's kind of getting paid and they've got so much talent on the roster, there's just not enough money to hand out for every single person in need of a new contract. And I think Alex Anzalone's going to kind of be the guinea pig in this situation of what's going to happen when the Lions run out of money to pay every single one of their guys. It feels like there is a okay chance that Saturday rolls around and the beat reporters are there looking around like, we don't see the guy with the luscious golden locks. He wants a new contract. And I wouldn't blame him at all for wanting one. I wouldn't blame him at all for being upset that Derek Barnes got one and he didn't. And this is me talking. I love Derek Barnes. I think Derek Barnes is equally as much of a value piece to Alex Anzalone than Alex Anzalone is, just because Derek Barnes plays a very unique role that nobody else on the team really can fulfill in that Sam linebacker role. Off ball, on ball, gets after the quarterback, does a little bit of everything. Kind of invented that position for him on the defense. So, look, I get it from Anzalone's side of things too, though. Why would Derek Barnes get paid and not me? I've been here longer. I've produced more. I've been more consistent. There was never questions about me. I guess there was at the beginning, but not to the coaching staff. I've proved myself here in Detroit. I want one of these contracts that sets me up for the rest of my career. I want to retire here. Why are you guys not giving that to me? Why is that not an option? All valid questions, which is why I think there's an outside chance that Alex Anzalone doesn't show up to camp on Saturday. Now, if you told me right now, hey, Ben, gun to your head, is he going to show up? I'd probably say yes with all that being said, because there's no evidence that he's not going to. But again, if you ask me what my biggest worry is heading into training camp, it's 1,000% without a question what happens with this Alex Anzalone situation. Because if he decides I'm not showing up unless I get a new contract, the Lions' backs are against the wall. Because you're kind of forced to get this thing done with him. Because guess what? You can't roll out there with Deron Bland as your linebacker or Trevor Nowatzki. Shout out SVSU, and I loved him as a reserve for the Sam linebacker role. Kind of blew everyone's expectations out of the water, but that's not someone you want starting at your will position right off the jump and for a whole season with Malcolm Rodriguez out for, 10 weeks. So the Lions would be forced into a pretty big situation. We talk with Hutchinson, who has the upper hand, who kind of has the power in the dynamic. I think Alex Anzalone by far has more power in this situation, because if he holds out, I don't know what other choice Brad Holmes has but to cough up a little bit of money and kind of push his chips into the table to make this a must-win season, Brad. it's keeping me up at night. I'll say that.
Keeping you up at night?
A little bit. I've had trouble. I've had trouble sleeping the last couple of days for some reason.
Early wake ups for the show.
I know. I tried to go to bed at 10 o'clock yesterday. Next thing I know, I roll over. It's 11 o'clock. I've been worrying about Alex Anzalone so for an hour.
It's certainly something to worry about, and could be one of the first real cap casualties for this Brad Holmes era. I think part of this comes down to me, positional value. Right, like as we continue to list off all of these names who need to be paid on both sides of the ball, how important is that primary linebacker spot in the long term to devote top 10 money to? You can't pay top 10 money to every single position.
Right.
I think most would tell you that tight end, running back, maybe safety, maybe linebacker, those are the unimportant ones.
Which the Lions are already paying basically every position you just said.
Well, not tight end, running back yet.
Not yet. Well, they're paying David Montgomery. Not like huge money, but
but not long-term money beyond this year.
No, that's not true. He got extended. He signed all the way through when Gibbs is signed through.
How much a year?
I think it was $10 million a year. Let me make sure of that. But David Montgomery's not making an insignificant amount of money.
That's correct. And they are paying some of those positions already. Kirby Joseph already. Brian Branch, whatever you want to consider him, is, I think, someone who needs to be paid. He's a bit too versatile on the defensive side. And so to me, you've already started paying some positions that, like Sam Laporta is a non-pay for me.
Really?
I think it's a very similar discussion to TJ Hawkinson.
Does that mean J-Mo's a pay? Because you can't let both of those guys walk. They're both not under contract in 27. You have to make a decision on one of those, and Laporta's the cheaper option. I think Laporta's a non-negotiable. Got to bring him back.
You have to pay both, or one of them?
You have to pay. You can't let both of them walk.
Why?
Unless Isaac Tesla all of a sudden looks like one of your top end talents. This has always been one of the best offenses. Not always. Under the last couple of years, this has been one of the best offenses in football. Why? You can't just let that disappear. This is how the team's kind of built on. You can't lose two of your top three weapons for Jared Goff. Jared Goff's not a guy that just makes any single receiver look awesome, right? He needs weapons
when
around
the crunch hits and you're paying your quarterback now somewhere between 15 and 22% of your salary cap, guess what gets sacrificed? His weapons. Prove it without the weapons if you're going to be a top 10 paid quarterback.
Do you feel comfortable with Jared Goff without weapons? Because I don't.
No, I don't. And that's why I think the biggest failure is paying a quarterback that.
I think it's J-Mo that's unfortunately gets the short end of the stick here. Not Laporta.
That's fine.
But anyway, that's not really what we were talking about.
Yeah. To your point, well, yeah, tying it back to the linebacker position, I think it's an expendable position. If you can't pay every position that deserves to be paid top 10 positional money, I think the linebacker position is one that you don't do.
The problem with that is Malcolm Rodriguez is also in a contract here. Not that would cost a whole lot. And outside of that, the Lions just don't have a ton of depth.
But Alex Anzalone is not in a position to actually hold out and lose game checks.
That's
so
also
your
true.
point.
That's also
you
true.
Call his bluff.
Yes, that's what I would do if I was Brad Holmes. Hey,
I don't think Alex Anzalone has made enough money in his career to actually hold out and lose game checks.
Do you have the guaranteed the career earnings pulled up?
I do not.
Alex Anzalone.
It's also counting someone else's money.
Career earnings $20 million. You could be right. I mean, I don't know. It depends how much Alex Anzalone's really going to fight the Lions on this one. And I would think,
or if he's on that Malik Beasley budget.
Owes a lot of people money. I would guess Alex Anzalone's not down that avenue right now. But then again, you don't know. But just running through the depth of the linebackers real quick. I mean, just who can play that will position. Malcolm Rodriguez, Trevor Nowatzki, Zach Cunningham got signed. Anthony Pittman's still around. Ezekiel Turner. It's no one you really feel comfortable with. And we saw what happens when you throw nobodies out there as linebackers. It's an expendable position, yes, but we saw exactly what happens when you throw out nobodies as linebackers last year. They got exposed for 3 games without Anzalone. 989-837-6125. We'll hit the news when we come back. It's the Ben Bosscher Show on 100.9 The Mitt.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
I'm Sarah Stockford, host of 100.9 The Mid Success Suite, a podcast highlighting the most inspiring female leaders across the Great Lakes Bay region. This month, we spoke with Allie Huntoon, the director and founder of Allied HR Solutions and Allied Group Fitness.
Lean on people I trust to help me get through things too. If I know that I'm overwhelmed or I need support with something, I usually try to reach out. Sometimes I'm still trying to do things all myself, and that's a learning curve too. Delegation is your friend. I'm learning that.
Something I definitely do.
So I think it's leaning on your team. I think it's putting things into perspective. Even though HR is very important and we have things all the time that come up with terminations or discrimination or harassment.
Listen to the full interview with Allie on YouTube on 100.9 The Mid. Subscribe and hit the notification button to be alerted when new episodes drop. That's Success Suite with Sarah Stockford.
Hey everyone, Brad Tunney here with The Mitt. And I want to talk to you about my friends over at Maple Hill Nursery, one of the great local family-owned businesses in our region for over 40 years. Now, their specialty is in landscaping with expertise and high-quality trees, plants, and shrubs. They're also a full stocking dealer of Dairy Dew, and they've got polywood furniture. Now, I've got it all over my backyard. It's maintenance-free and long-lasting and comes in 18 different colors. Stop by Maple Hill Nursery, just 2.5 miles north of the Midland Mall on Eastman.
Since 2007, the Michigan Baseball Foundation has invested over $1.8 million into our communities, supporting over 350 projects across 14 Michigan counties. From restoring Alma Little League fields to creating nature-based classrooms at the Chippewa Nature Center and enhancing accessibility at the middle of the Mitt Miracle Field, MBF is making a real difference. Every ticket to a Great Lakes Loons game helps fund these initiatives. Join us in building a stronger, more vibrant community. Learn more at MichiganBaseballFoundation.org.
All fans on deck. It's Pontooners Weekend with the Great Lakes Loons. July 24th through 27th, presented by Sugar Springs Marine. Kick things off with our koozie giveaway and beer run on Thursday, with Yacht Rock on Friday. Saturday brings a bucket hat giveaway and a fireworks loontacular presented by Farm Bureau Insurance. The weekend wraps up with Super Splash Sunday and Meet the Team Day. For tickets, visit loons.com.
Hey, I'm Ben Bosscher.
And I'm Kyle Sandel.
And the two of us are live every weekday on 100.9 The Mitt at 9 a.m. until noon, giving you opinions on the teams that you care about the most.
The Lions, Tigers, Red Wings, Pistons, those teams.
And a whole lot more. Whether we're breaking down a game from the night before, debating the biggest news from the day, or doing a draft or spread picks, we're always having fun. I mean, come on, it's our job to talk about sports. How could we not be having fun?
So if the big games aren't enough for you, if you're a real diehard fan, this show is going to be perfect for you. You can count on us to be your morning sports outlet every day.
The Ben Bosscher Show with Ben Bosscher and Kyle Sandel on 100.9 The Mitt.
Scrolling? Make it count. Want local sports content that actually matters?
Yeah.
100.9 The Mitt is loaded with local highlights, viral plays, breaking sports news, and takes you can't get enough of.
It's hot!
Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube today, and you'll never be out of the loop on the Lions, Tigers, Pistons, Red Wings, Michigan State, and even the biggest stories in high school sports in the Great Lakes Bay region. 100.9 The Mitt, Mid-Michigan's sports leader.
I'm a pretty great multitasker. I can wash dishes and do laundry. I can roller skate while walking my dog. I can even order lunch while doing my homework. But I can't use my phone while driving. A distracted driver is one of the leading causes of death in the United States. So when it comes to driving, please, don't be a multitasker.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
(989-837-6125). Welcome back in. 11 o'clock hour. Hope everyone's having a good start to their Friday, sending you off to the weekend. On a good note, hey, if you're going out of town this weekend, make sure to get your car the glow up it deserves at Tommy's Express Car Wash. Fast, friendly, and freakishly good at cleaning. Roll in dirty, roll out sparkling. It is, in fact, that easy. High-tech wash tunnels, eco-friendly soaps, and a ride that looks showroom fresh in minutes. Sign up for their Unlimited Club. I know Brad's a member of that. And wash as often as you want because clean cars just drive a little bit better. No appointments, no nonsense, just clean, quick, and kind of addictive. Tommy's Express Car Wash, because your car called, and it is, in fact, begging for this. All right. With that being said, it is, in fact, time. Hold.
Okay.
To hit the mid-morning catch.
Oh!
The Mets Morning Catch.
What do you got for us, Brad?
Give me a moment.
All right, holding once again.
Here we go.
I'm ready.
Yep. Mid-morning catch news. Starting with some NBA.
Okay.
Damian Lillard returning to the Portland Trailblazers. 3 years, $42 million, and what becomes only the second no-trade clause in the NBA right now.
This really is just a, hey, come sit at home, come retire at home type of situation. I think he has a lot of regret in leaving Portland in the first place to go try to chase a ring. Definitely going to finish his career without a ring. And I was thinking about this yesterday after I saw this news of like, hey, who are the best guys I've seen play without getting a ring? And I don't even think he'd make first team all no ring in my lifetime, because you have Chris Paul and James Harden who'd both be ahead of him in the guard spots. So, yeah, I don't understand why Portland would do this either. You've got Shaedon Sharpe and Scoot Henderson there. Once Dame's healthy, not this year, but the following season, kind of just feels like he's taking minutes away from those guys. Drew Holiday's there too. I don't get this one, Brad. I really don't. Not for Portland, at least. I get it for Dame. Just go back home where he's got his roots, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't get it either. All right. How about the WNBA? Union meet again, but no progress made in their collective bargaining agreement talks. They opted out of the upcoming CBA. And then, let's see here, yesterday? Yes, gathered yesterday in what it was the largest in-person player turnout in Union history. During their CBA talks, some 40 WNBA players, including Caitlin Clark, Paige Beckers, Angel Reese, all gathered to discuss the CBA.
Wait, they're doing this in the middle of the season?
I guess.
I thought that was more of an off-season thing. That's okay. I didn't know you could just dispute that kind of stuff in the middle of the year. Is there talk of being a holdout in the middle of the season? It's not a
probably
not
for the start
table,
of
right?
next year.
Oh.
So some of the things that the WNBPA, Players Association Executive Director Terry Jackson is talking about. Equity-based model that grows and evolves in step with the league's business success. Part of that conversation is related to all the expansion teams that are coming online before 2030, including the franchise in Detroit, which carries a $250 million expansion fee. And so where does that money go? How does it get dispersed? The players want some of it, obviously. Players also want wages that properly reflect their value, professional and safe environments, expanded retirement benefits, pregnancy and family planning benefits, all of that good stuff. Right now, just about every other professional league, well, the Big Four at least, players make roughly 50% of the league revenue. The WNBA players right now make about 9% of the league revenue.
Did you say 15 or 50?
50. NBA players get exactly 50% of league revenues. 50% of revenues made by the league go back to the players. 9% go back to the players in the WNBA.
Go get
no
it.
Thoughts.
Go get that money.
That's right. TJ Watt, been in the news this morning. We've been talking about it a lot as it relates to Aiden Hutchinson and the ramifications. TJ Watt of the Pittsburgh Steelers, 3 years, $123 million, highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. Any additional thoughts there?
No, I feel like all of those have been articulated here on the show. If you want to listen back a few minutes after noon, you can search it wherever you get your podcast, or you can go on YouTube and watch it back right now.
That's right. Evan Petzold, old friend and friend of the program, writes for the Detroit Free Press that the Arizona Diamondbacks are expected to be sellers at the trade deadline, which means Eugenio Suarez is likely to be on the move. And as Petzold writes here, he already knows where he wants to play. Bluntly, he writes, the Detroit Tigers. Suarez quoted as stating, "To finish where everything started, it would be cool. It would mean a lot to me." 17 years ago, the Tigers signed Suarez out of Venezuela for just $10,000. That was during the 2008 signing period. Made his debut on June 4th, 2014 at Comerica Park, and is now one of the best power hitters in Major League Baseball. Could he be the Tigers' new starting third baseman post-deadline?
Could be, and I'd be very interested to see what the ripple effects of that would be. Where is McKinstry playing? Is that booting Kerry Carpenter out of the lineup? Is that sending Parker Meadows back down to AAA? I think those are all things that are on the table.
What would it be for you? Would it be just McKinstry in right, Kerry Carpenter to the bench, markers, I guess you could call them.
I think
if I could hear myself correctly, Parker Meadows.
Me,
he would be in center field and Baez would stay in short?
Honestly, Brad, I think for me right now, it would be Javi Baez goes back to center field, Riley Green's in left field, Wenzel and Kerry are platooning in right field, and
Zach's at short.
Zach's at shortstop, which is definitely the position I feel the least comfortable with him at, but Parker's just a liability right now, and I'm rooting for him to turn things around. I think when he's got things going, he's one of the more impactful players on this team just based on everything he brings to the table, but right now he's just kind of a zero in the box.
Moving on to some golf. Out in your homeland of Northern Ireland?
Nope, not really. Not at all. I've never been there, actually.
That's correct. The Open Championship, Day 2. Leader right now is Haotong Lee. He is 5 under through 13 today. 9 under is top of the leaderboard. American Brian Harmon at 8 under. He has already finished his round today. Shot a 6 under 65. Matt Fitzpatrick, 7 under. He's in third. Then there's a little bit of a gap before a large tie at fourth at 5 under.
Where's Rory? Right. Where's Rory? He finished
tied for 11th. He's 2 under today.
3 under on the day.
2 under 69.
3 under
done
total
today.
See, 3 under total. Okay. Yeah, we're all rooting for him. At least I am. And anyone who tailed the lock of the day.
Notable American, Scotty Scheffler, 1 under through 4 today, so he's 4 under overall.
Just hit a birdie putt on 5, so.
There you go. Birdie putt on 5, so he'll be 5 under. He'll be tied for 4th.
Yep.
Cruising up towards the lead. Let's see other favorites here. Justin Thomas, he's done today, 2 under 69, putting him at 1 under overall. About it.
What a gorgeous course, too. Right on the water, right on the coastline in Northern Ireland,
right.
Which is different than Ireland. 2 totally different governments. We learned that yesterday. Pre-show.
Okay.
I did a whole 10 minutes figuring out the difference between those 2 countries. Fascinating stuff.
That is the Mid-Morning Catch.
Hosted by Brad Tunney. Thank you very much. 989-837-6125. We've got our 2 traditions to close out every show, a lock of the day, and we're going to guess Collins Open. Coming up next, close things out, send you into the weekend. Ben Bosscher Show, 100.9 The Mid.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
It's time to remember that. You remember. With Kyle Sandel.
Presented by Matt Larson, Farm Bureau agent, located downtown Midland. Well, the Pittsburgh Steelers continue to be the most aggressive team of this year's NFL offseason. Obviously going out and signing Aaron Rodgers, they traded for and then paid DK Metcalf. The really big trade that had a lot of question marks that included them acquiring Jalen Ramsey and Jonnu Smith, trading away Minkah Fitzpatrick. But their most important piece this offseason was bringing back TJ Watt, who was threatening to potentially hold out without a new contract. You knew all along the Steelers were going to pay TJ Watt. They really have no other choice to. He's been their franchise player for the last decade. It was more so a matter of when, and they do so before the Lions are able to pay Aiden Hutchinson his new contract. Now, look, whether or not this was planned by Brad Holmes and company or not, based on the Hutchinson injury, want to wait for him to come back healthy and see how he looks, or if they really did want to see what the market value of Watt and or Micah Parsons was, this is still an L for the Lions in a way, right? Because now Aiden Hutchinson's agency can look at this deal of TJ Watt and say, well, Hutchinson is nearing that TJ Watt level and years younger. Look at the production he had last year prior to that injury. he deserves that same type of money. Holmes has beat the rest of the market the last several years with the Amon-Ra St. Brown, Penei Sewell contracts. He's gotten creative with the contracts as well, so I'm not saying this is an L move from Brad Holmes, but this is the first time we've really seen him in this situation with one of his star players. Remember that. Presented by Matt Larson, Farm Bureau agent located downtown Midland.
I'm Sarah Stockford, host of 100.9 The Mid Success Suite, a podcast highlighting the most inspiring female leaders across the Great Lakes Bay region. This month, we spoke with Allie Huntoon, the director and founder of Allied HR Solutions and Allied Group Fitness.
Lean on people I trust to help me get through things too. If I know that I'm overwhelmed or I need support with something, I usually try to reach out. Sometimes I'm still trying to do things all myself, and that's a learning curve too. Delegation is your friend. I'm learning that.
So something I definitely do.
So I think it's leaning on your team. I think it's putting things into perspective. Even though HR is very important and we have things all the time that come up with terminations or discrimination or harassment.
Listen to the full interview with Allie on YouTube on 100.9 The Mid. Subscribe and hit the notification button to be alerted when new episodes drop. That's Success Suite with Sarah Stockford.
Greater Midland is bringing the heat this summer. Hit the pavement for Run the River on August 1st, Midland's scenic summer run along the Tridge. Then, cheer on the hometown heroes at the Loons Pennant Race Night, August 8th at Dow Diamond. Rally your crew July 11th through 13th for the sizzling Pig and Pit Pickleball Tournament at the Tennis Center. And don't miss the pros at the APP Great Lakes Open, August 13th through 17th. World-class pickleball right here in Midland. Get in the game at greatermidland.org, where summer plays big.
Now, wait a second, Sharon. So the Midland Area Community Foundation runs the Midland Area Santa House?
You bet we do.
And Midland Area River Days?
Absolutely.
Plus scholarships for students and grants for local nonprofits? That's like hitting the cycle and impacting our community.
Anyone can step up to the plate and help build community capital for as little as $5.
$5? That's the cost of a snack at the ballpark. How do I get in the game?
Just visit midlandfoundation.org and make a gift to our community investment fund. Every dollar makes a difference.
Join the team. Give today at midlandfoundation.org.
All fans on deck. It's Pontooners Weekend with the Great Lakes Loons. July 24th through 27th, presented by Sugar Springs Marine. Kick things off with our koozie giveaway and beer run on Thursday, with Yacht Rock on Friday. Saturday brings a bucket hat giveaway and a fireworks loontacular presented by Farm Bureau Insurance. The weekend wraps up with Super Splash Sunday and Meet the Team Day. For tickets, visit loons.com. Scrolling? Make it count. Want local sports content that actually matters? Yeah. 100.9 The Mid is loaded with local highlights, viral plays, breaking sports news, and takes you can't get enough of.
It's hot!
Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube today, and you'll never be out of the loop on the Lions, Tigers, Pistons, Red Wings, Michigan State, and even the biggest stories in high school sports in the Great Lakes Bay region. 100.9 The Mid, Mid-Michigan's sports leader.
Health concerns in high school sports go beyond physical injuries. The mental well-being of our young people is a hotter topic than ever before. The Michigan High School Athletic Association website has resources to help adults and students recognize potential problems and deal with them in a positive way. You can learn more about these mental health resources on the Health and Safety page of the MHSAA website. A message from the MHSAA promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
All right, we've got two traditions to close out every show here. We'll send you off into the weekend with those. Hopefully a win. Let's, in just a moment, do our... Pause. Hold.
Man, come on.
You took too long to turn the music down, Brad. I'm trying to do this from the iPad. It's a little harder. All right. First up, our tradition to close out every single show. We try to get the people some money. It is our... Man. Oh, man. Where is this button? There it is.
Lock of the day.
You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up.
All right, our first tradition is our lock of the day. Today, I'm going with Reese Olson to have a nice outing here. His over-under on outs recorded is 15.5. My logic behind this is simple. No one seems to be able to score at Globe Life Stadium down in Texas. There has been 79 runs scored there this season, if you believe that. That is it, 79. For some reason that no one seems to be able to figure out, what once was a hitters-friendly ballpark has now become an extremely pitchers-friendly ballpark. Even the home team cannot score runs while they're home, those Texas Rangers. So all we need Reese Olson to do is go 5 1/3 innings at minimum. He's done that 5 of his 11 starts so far this year. So he's coming off 9 days of rest, favorable stadium playing in. The Rangers aren't a great offense in general. Bottom 10 in hits and walks. They just don't get on base very often. So I think Reese Olson keeps his pitch count low, gets over 5 1/3 outs recorded, and I think we go off into the weekend on a high note. We are 1-1 so far this week. We didn't have a show on Wednesday, and then yesterday we bet Rory to win the Open Championship. That's not looking great right now, but we kind of knew with no sports on yesterday, we were just going to throw a dart and try to get ourselves way back into it because we're down all time. Pretty significant, 8.8 units. So the Rory thing was really just to throw a dart. There was nothing else to bet on yesterday, so we hoped Rory could come through. Like Brad said in the update, he's 3 under. The leader right now is 9 under. So he's going to make the cut. He's going to have a pretty nice final 2 rounds to win us that bet. That was plus 700. Reese Olson over 15.5 outs is minus 112. Brad, tailing or fading today? Nobody scores runs in this stadium.
I am fading.
Okay. Seems to be a trend that is working out more often than not. That is our
lock of the day.
You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up.
All right, the last thing we got to do is predict Colin Cowherd's Open. You're filling in for Kyle today. Pinch hitting. You don't get a separate score. You're scoring for him here. I believe I'm leading 9-6 all time predicting what Colin's going to open with today. And I have the first pick today, and it's feeling like a pretty good day to have the first pick.
Why do you get the first pick today?
We alternate. Kyle picked first yesterday.
Yeah, but I've never picked.
I'm taking it. Sorry. I'm going with TJ Watt and the Steelers. He's going to do something like they should have traded TJ Watt. The Steelers are all in this season behind Aaron Rodgers, and it's not going to work out. Fairly simple, fairly straightforward. Nobody likes talking about Steelers football more than Colin Cowherd.
Really?
Oh yeah, this has been like, I don't know, 10% of his opens since we've launched the show. It's been Steelers and it's been LeBron. That's the two biggest things. You could go LeBron. He's already led with LeBron 2 days this week.
I don't have the advantage of knowing the full cadence every day.
Not listening to your own station. What's up with that?
Well, I'm saying, like, I don't do this every day with you guys.
I'm kidding.
You know?
Yeah, Steelers is probably his most opened with, not topic, but you know what I'm saying. Subject. Steelers are the subject of, not most of his opens, but more so than any other open since June 2nd.
So I can't take the Steelers then in this game?
Nope. Unless you want to be hyper-specific and do a different angle.
No. I'm going to take...
It's tough. That was the layup today. I'd be pretty shocked if I didn't get a point.
Okay, I'm taking the WNBA and their collective bargaining agreement talks.
It's not a bad second pick. It's not. Whoever got the first pick today was going to score a point. I'd be pretty shocked if it wasn't the TJ Watt stuff to open up the herd. I guess we'll see if Colin's even there. I think he's going to be there. But then again, every time I say I think he's going to be there, something happens. So we'll see. All right, Brad, you got any weekend plans? Any big stuff coming up?
No.
Okay, good talk. Thanks for filling in for Kyle today. Kyle's going to be doing the Loons game tonight down in Dayton. So if you tune back in at 7 o'clock, you will get some of that from Mr. Sandell, the one, the only. That's going to do it for us today. We'll be back on Monday as always, 9 o'clock. And we will know whether or not Alex Anzalone showed up to camp. We'll know whether or not the Tigers had a nice start to the second half of their season. So Monday should be a pretty fun show. Can't wait for that. Other than that, should be a nice weekend. There's not a ton of weekends left in the summer. Got to start enjoying them. Football's right around the corner. All right, everyone. That was the Ben Bosscher Show. Appreciate everyone who's been tuning in. See you guys on Monday.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
Hi, this is Jim Mahoney with Link Technologies. If you are a business or a nonprofit organization wondering how to navigate today's technologies landscape, let Link Technologies' talented staff work with you to develop a technology plan custom to your specific needs. We bring 27 years of